What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Carlotta Chatwood Show. You know what? I decided I was going to give a show today to chat on some comments and some topics and some things I saw this week. And I thought that would be fun, okay? So hopefully this will be a little short show today, but you guys, my week has been going really, really good. I have so much stuff that I want to talk to you about, so many things. So many projects I'm trying to do, but I want to say to you guys, listen, I've been going through in my head, thinking I'm back and forth about I want, how do I want to proceed in this show? I'm going to be honest with you guys. For the last few years, I've done Blog Talk, and I love Blog Talk. But at the same time, I'm now doing StreamYard on YouTube. I like YouTube. I haven't got all the way into it and stuff like that, just testing out the waters and everything. But I have been thinking, I'm like, should I rebrand the show, start over? I have been thinking that I was going to do that a few years back when I decided to start the show back again. There was a reason. And and I've been doing it steady since then, but now I'm back to that point again. I'm like, maybe I need to take a break, think it through, all these things, because I got so much going on, so many things. So, for my fellow listeners who listen a lot and everything like that, I got a little small group here. You're welcome to write me and tell me what you think about it. Y'all know how to hit me up, the Carlotta Chatwood Facebook page. But yeah, I've been thinking that, so I'm trying to bring in my mind how I need to approach, the show, because the show is my therapy, really. And so, it's it's a labor of love, okay. And I don't really do it for anything, or it's just my fun little labor of love, okay. But yeah, so that's where I'm thinking at. That's where my head is at, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I will keep sharing with you guys the following weeks and stuff from now, okay. Listen, baby, so much is going on. The world is, Lord, it's the twilight zone. I keep telling people it's the twilight zone. I say it every day. I say it is the twilight zone. We live in the twilight zone. I mean, it's just straight up true. Okay. Okay, so this is breaking news. Kamala Harris will not run for governor in 2026. Of course not. She should not. Kamala Harris, it couldn't run for president well. My personal opinion is they're going to take a break with her and try to, because they don't have anybody in the Democratic Party yet. They don't have that rising star yet, like Barack Obama. And they're going to try to work with her in terms of how she answers a question, how she, comes across and stuff, everything, and probably try to run her for president again. This would not be shocking to me. Okay, I think they are definitely going to try to run Kamala for president again, if the Democrats don't have any other new stars come up soon. Okay, because it's looking bleak. And America has grown. America was so tired of the far left that they've become now far right. There's no balance. So, America got so sick of what they were seeing with the left that they became too far. Now they're too far conservative, no middle ground. And you're going to have to find a middle ground character, a person. And I don't think Kamala's that, but they're going to try it. But it says former Vice President Kamala Harris announced Wednesday that she would not run for governor of California in 2026, ending questions about her interest in the role, but raising new ones about the 2024 Democratic presidential nominee plans for the future. For now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office, she said in a statement released Wednesday. I look forward to getting back out and listening to American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fiercely, and sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans. She's maybe still considering president, but I personally think the Democrat Party, she's been the worst to the Democratic Party. She left them with debt, saddled with debt. And now to the point where you've got this new, I don't think it's a humorous, I don't think people should laugh at it. that Donald Trump and his gang is now in there saying, hey, you know what, we might put people in jail for your election, because you were giving out money that you shouldn't have. So she may have even not only done that, but endangered maybe certain constituents. Her campaign could have. So her entire campaign was a mess. Even though it's highly unlikely he put Beyonce or somebody like that in jail, but maybe you don't know. And he has the power now to do so, right? And I don't know what people are doing. Did they take election campaign money when they shouldn't have? We've had that all through the years, okay? So this could be hardcore. He's been talking, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but they've been talking about, Beyonce and Oprah and all them putting their ass in jail. Oh, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but it says, for now, in the aftermath of her loss to President Donald Trump, Harris and her team indicated that she would take some time to assess her next step, which included considering a run for governor of California or potentially another run in 2028, which is probably more than likely they give Kamala time to build up or something like that. Or Kamala might look at the ideas of if a Democrat gets back in there in the next, which I don't think so, I don't foresee, because they just recently had a poll come out and the Democrats rated even lower. That's how bad Biden and her, certain things were. And I don't think it was little things that the big thing that killed her and Biden was not the helping of student loans or the doing certain things socially, like, with programs and money and stuff like that to help for Medicaid and all those programs, different things. I don't think that was the thing that killed the Democrats. What's killed the Democrats is the far right, the far left thinking. Like, when we talk about transgenders and women's sports and things like that, they're far out thoughts about a lot of things. And America still has a deeply conservative being. Still has a Bible Belt running through it, right? And so when you think, then also it was bringing in illegal aliens, that really killed them. Acting like the American people didn't know what was best for them. Bringing in droves of illegals throughout the community, giving them money, giving them this, and you're not even helping your own citizens. That destroyed and to see what Democrats have done to democratic cities. So America's looking at all of this and they just go to Trump. Trump's talking like a populist, and at those populists win in times like these, right? So, the Democrats have to really find some middle ground with themselves, or they can't, it can't keep going, right? So this is an interesting thing. I think that she may think about a presidential run. I really don't think Kamala, unless they really work hard with her, I don't really think that she has that. She doesn't have that charisma like Barack or, stuff like that. So they have to find someone with that charisma. And the only one that's got it is doing a podcast right now. The only one that has got the charisma and the thing to almost reach, and she doesn't have a lot of political background, is Michelle Obama. I hate to say it, both the Obamas are just very charismatic, and Michelle is looking like right now, I don't want anything to do with politics. Anything. That's how she's looking. She's looking like, no, I don't want it. You can take it and do whatever you want to. Take that and do whatever you want to, okay? So interesting, all right? Trump is talking about putting people in jail. I don't know if I laugh. I'm laughing a little, but I don't know. Does Donald Trump have the thing to can he he's the most powerful man in the world right now, and he is his Department of Justice up in there, okay? So if there has been shenanigans, he could possibly do this. This is not funny. It's not humorous. It wasn't funny when they were trying to send him to jail for little things, right? Now he's doing the same thing to them. Doesn't feel so good when mama got the gun. Okay? But it says Donald Trump says Beyonce should be prosecuted for alleged Harris endorsement. This is from USA Today. It says Donald Trump still has a political bone to pick with Queen Bee. The president, who has previously voiced criticism of celebrities who showed support for his election counterpart, Kamala Harris, took to social media on Saturday, July 26, to renew his unfounded claim that pop star Beyonce was allegedly paid $11 million to endorse Harris' presidential bid. In the lead up, and now remember, he has Gabby Gifford over, I forget what that she's over. So they're looking into all of that. The Department of Justice, they are looking at you. They're going to scrutinize heavily. I know you all are talking about Epstein. And listen, people think because they say, oh, you just like Trump. No, what I will tell you about Epstein, I've always been skeptical of what Epstein is. Epstein, I don't think there's a list. Everybody's probably on it. People probably you would be surprised. But I think there's more. It's not the list you want. It's the file on Epstein probably. But it says, in the lead up to the 2024 presidential election, the Cowboy Carlotta Sanders made endorsement of Harris official when she appeared at the former president's abortion rights rally in her hometown of Houston, Texas, okay? She also cleared the uses of her 2016 song Freedom for Harris, and the tune became the Democratic nominee's official campaign song. I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang one note. Uh-oh. Wrote Trump in a fiery Truth Social post, also citing alleged endorsement payments to media mogul Oprah Winfrey and civil rights activist Al Sharpton, okay? Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying people to endorse them? All hell would break out. Trump concluded, Kamala and all of those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Trump's digital tirade comes just 2 months after he accused the Grammy-winning singer and other celebrities of being paid publicly to support Harris's candidacy. Now, if he finds that, listen, I know how much people have become sided, don't like Trump and stuff, but he could find illegal activity going on here. I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to try it, okay? They're going to try it. It's not a laughing matter if I'm Beyonce and her team. If I'm, and it's not political, what celebrities will try to say, oh, it's political thing or whatever like that. But if I even noticed it at the time when I read it, I was going, whoa, like you can't be praying and celebrities for endorsement. That didn't even work at that. I don't believe she did that. But if she did, this may be why she's not running for governor. She really may realize that they're getting ready to really light up what her campaign was. And because her campaign was done in a split of a second, and a lot of these celebrities, they just take a check. They don't know what the hell they taking a check. They get involved in politics. They don't know what they're getting involved in. They have no clue, and neither their managers. All they see is a big ass check to this group or this group, and they don't know. They ain't got nobody checking saying, hold up. A lawyer coming in, is that illegal? Is that this and that and this and that? You know what I'm saying? They probably have no clue. Or somebody had a clue, Yeah, this also makes celebrity think when they're endorsing. Think if you're getting any kind of payments, any kind of money to your charities or anything like that, be very wise in how you handle these situations, okay? I'm just telling y'all, it's getting really sticky out here, and I wouldn't be surprised. People are joking about that, and I know the liberal media will go crazy, but he could possibly have something. You can see a lot of your favorite celebrities getting carted out the jail. Diddy be coming out, everybody be going in. Oh, he probably would love that. He would say that because everybody had turned on him. Speaking of Diddy trying to get out of jail again. Diddy, and here's what I say. I would probably stay until the sentencing. I know you probably don't nobody ask you. Say you got a lot of nerve out here free, but Diddy is trying to get out. It says Trump is seriously considering a Diddy party. Donald, you should just do it already, okay? I mean, like if you're gonna pardon the man, pardon him. If you're not, don't wait for the sentencing and all that. Just go and do what you're gonna do. Let the man out. I mean, nobody is in jail for hiring, like he said, 2 prostitutes that he did sleep with. well, the Cassie and unless they're calling Cassie, which it seems like Cassie and Daphne or Jane Joe, prostitutes. But these were Diddy's girlfriends, really, to be honest. And hopefully they appeal that. The rapper who was found, they said who was found guilty. Oh goodness, hold on, y'all. Who was found guilty on 2 of the 5 counts he was tried for could bank his longtime friendship with the president. This is from LosAngeles.com, LAMag.com news. It says Sean Diddy Combs, convicted of sex crimes he committed at the height of his career, still might have a fan in the White House. His longtime relationship with President Trump could be his ticket out of prison, Deadline reports. Earlier this month, a New York jury found Combs guilty of 2 out of the 5 charges, both counts for transporting individuals for prostitution. He was found not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking. Trump entertained the idea of pardoning a longtime friend 2 months ago, suggesting Combs was treated more harshly because of his ties to the controversial president. Okay, I would certainly look at the facts that if I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, Trump said in the Oval Office back in May, it wouldn't have an impact on me. Trump added, apparently in a teasing manner. That White House is yet to make an official word regarding the verdict or possible pardon, but an exclusive source from the Trump administration told Deadline the idea is being seriously considered. And listen, let me tell you something. This changes. I'm going to tell you the truth. Trump would be smart to pick a Diddy to do this with Diddy, because Diddy is. I don't think Sean is done yet. I just really got to tell y'all the truth. I don't think he'll come back in the way as fast or come back in the way you think. But I always say he's a Scorpio. One of the things about Scorpios, never underestimate us. Never. You know, I had a relative say to me the other night. My mom was talking and another relative, and my mom was surprised about how fast. She was like, oh my God, you know, you're almost about to complete your master's. And my other relative said to me, she said, Kiki, when you came home that time from ORU, I am so shocked at, you said you was going to go back and finish school. And I said, yeah. She said, you have done it. You did it. And not only did you do that, but you went somewhere and you're trying to get your master's. And I was like, yeah, because I said, the one thing I didn't want, I'm the one in my family who God gave the ability, I don't have children, I don't have anything, you know, to do things that I can do things differently. I can do, and yes, I've had some setbacks. I've had some things where I have just made some crazy decisions. You know what I'm saying? Or I've done this, or I've done that, or blah, blah, blah. But baby, one thing I got is God gives us November souls and late October souls the power of reinvention. Okay? We Scorpios will burn this shit up. We will burn ourselves to the ground, baby, and come back as the phoenix. We don't play. We don't play. And no matter how dark it gets for us, how dark. That's what we say. I say never bet against a Scorpio. You got a Scorpio, never bet against a Scorp. Never. We got to be down and out, baby. You know what I'm saying? Even from the worst circumstances, the worst mistakes, the this and that. And that's just anybody in life. Anybody in life can come back. But listen, we got special. That's our gifting. We got the power of reinvention, man. And so I believe that with Diddy. I believe that Diddy has the power to reinvent himself and take himself from the darkness, transmute that, and transmute it into something great if he comes out here doing the right thing and he's changed. I don't think y'all seen the end of Diddy. Okay? So, but it says, Diddy said some really bad things about Trump. It's not okay. That's what, what's his name was saying. Okay, but Trump's not paying attention to that. Trump, they also said that Trump has been really seriously considering this, and that that P. Diddy's team has been in touch with them for the pardon. I think it's a possibility. And you know what? Here's a funny thing. That would be funny. And a lot of people saying, well, he's just trying to do that for distraction against Epstein. Oh God, it's just like, I mean, I'm like, will it distract you from Epstein? That's not working. You're still talking about Epstein. I think Epstein is a distraction, to be honest, but you know, I think it's all a distraction. I think people think the very things that people think are not distractions are usually are. So we shall see if Diddy gets pardoned. That will be interesting to see. Okay, so I saw this thing. I had to come and I said, listen here, Deion Sanders. You know, yesterday, in prayers to Deion Sanders. Deion been through it. He just recently found out he had bladder cancer. And but they say he's cancer free now and he's been cleared. But what the big surprise was that everybody was tripping out was Carucci. Like everybody like is wait a minute, Deion going with Carucci? Because somebody taped taped her by Deion's bedside crying. And so, okay, so let me play y'all the tape, okay? So everybody kind of shocked. Everybody like, what is this man going with this little girl? I mean, she's 30-some years old, okay? She's 37. She's a grown-ass woman, but still, okay? So let y'all hear this. Let me see where I can find. Okay. Okay, see, we can share this with Carucci. Where is it at? Yeah, okay, here we go. I think we got. Okay, so this is Carucci in the hospital allegedly by Deion's side during his thing.
Here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today, and I'm excited. This is kind of the first day that
dealing with okay. We are dealing with bladder cancer. And He is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder. So yeah, we are here to...
Okay, so this is interesting because this brought out people with so many opinions, because people are going like, everybody has known Dion to be with Tracy for a number of years, Tracy Edmonds. And suddenly, he was with another woman, and then he's now with Carucci, much younger, maybe 20 some years his senior, but she is a grown woman. She's 37. I have no problem when you're that old and that age, okay, yeah, if you want it, I want it, it's good for you. You know what I'm saying? But people ask me to give my honest opinion about this, and I really hate to, because you know what I'm saying? I empathize with what she's going through as a young lady, and I empathize with, Dion. Dion's one, I love watching Dion on, Coach, and I think Dion has always been funny. Dion, though, his reality shows and stuff like that, he's been a different breed on them shows. Okay, and stuff like that. So, man, I am gonna give this truth with a little bit of what I think. I'm gonna say this. I don't know neither one. I don't know either one of them. It could be love. It could be soulmate. It could be twin flame shit. I don't know. It could be love. I don't know. But I'm going to give my opinion from the idea of a 37-year-old woman dealing with a 50-some-year-old man who is going through extreme health problems, okay? And you're not married to him, okay? At least I don't know. At least we don't think so, okay? So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But I wanted you to hear this lady. First, we had Anthony, AD, what is it? The football player who's really problematic, said the other day, Carucci, that man ain't got no toes and no bladder. What you doing? Okay, Lord have mercy. Okay, so that, if you love somebody, you stay with them through the hard times, the good times, the bad times, and even when it's hard. You know what I'm saying? And even if you love somebody and you separated from them or something like that, you still want the best for them. You still want them to be cared for, and all that stuff. Child. So let me get on to and Tracy. Meanwhile, her page, she was doing like woosah. She's living her best life, like. And I remember Tracy's mama. Tracy's mama had game. Woo, Tracy, your mama had game. Let me tell you, girl. Tracy, I know that all the game Tracy got came from that mama. Okay, that mama knew Dion. She wasn't feeling Dion, and that he didn't have no timetable for marriage for Tracy. She was not feeling that. I remember she was talking to Dion. That mama was coming. That mama was coming for him, and I believe that mama was right. I remember that show. I will never forget that. Her mama was sitting across from him, because her mama is an old school player. She looked like she an old school. Like, I done seen Negroes like this before. Back in the day when her and Dion was dating, and man, oh Lord, Tracy mama wasn't playing with him. Okay, all right. So let's go to. I'm gonna let you guys see this young lady and what she had to say about Dion in this relationship, because people gonna have their opinions. This is the public, the general public. Always, when relationships become public, and your celebrity, people, they got they say. People say what they they say, because you're also news, right? So this lady, young lady, she has some wisdom, what she felt was some wisdom for Carucci. And her name is Ask This is Ask Tiffany's. Wait, Ask Tiffany T. Where's she? Is this? Okay. Okay. This is Ask Tiffany T on Facebook.com. Okay. Wait a minute. I don't know. I think she's on Instagram. Hold on, y'all. We'll get it in a moment. Okay. So basically, I do want y'all to just kind of hear what she's saying. Um. Okay, and let me put her up on the screen. And then I'll give my opinion on this, okay? This is from Ask Tiffany T. Ask Tiffany T. I believe she's on Instagram, okay? But I'll find out for sure. But she was sharing a bit of wisdom that she considers wisdom, and then I also share what I consider wisdom. But, check out what she has to say here. We'll put her on.
That ain't it. That's not it. That is not the lick you want to hit. Dion is not it. I know them acting checks, you was doing your thing for a minute. I'm quite sure them acting checks is drying up and you trying to figure out a way to get your bills paid, but he ain't it. Deion Sanders is not it. He is like a Scrooge McDuck. If you thinking you about to get anything from him, you are sadly mistaken. He is tight as giraffe coochie. He'll tell you everything you want to hear. He gonna sell you a drink, but he ain't gonna give you a dime. And if any of y'all think that lady, that Karuchi, with her pretty self, young pretty self, really want him for him, she don't like Deion. She trying to figure out something. I get it. I understand, but you got to know when it's not gonna be worth your time or your energy. That man he already sickly. You understand what I'm saying? He's egotistical. The only person that Deion love is really himself. His ego too big to love anybody else. And I know y'all gonna say he love his kids, he tolerate his kids. As long as his kids doing everything he wants them to do, they can stay in his good graces. Anytime you go outside of what he wants you to do, then man, he gonna give you a hard time. He ain't gonna want to have nothing to do with you. So I guess y'all must have forgot how he just threw away Tracy Edmonds, right? Babyface ex-wife. I'm gonna tell you something about men like Deion Sanders. If they can't manipulate and control you, they don't want you. Tracy had her own motion. Tracy had her own motion before Babyface. You know what I'm saying? And that woman was by his side when he got his. How you gonna let a man with 6, 7 toes play you though, man? Like, that's just crazy. But she was there. When he got his toes amputated, she was flying back and forth doing everything she could to be by that man's side and take care of her own business. And he got rid of her like a bad habit. And then tried to replace her with some young Spanish chick. And I guess he tossed her too because she wasn't trying to go along with the program. He don't care about nobody but himself. Karuchi, I know you trying to figure life out, trying to figure out how you gonna get them bills paid, but you need to get a different lick to hit. He ain't gonna help you. You would tell that man you having car troubles and you need a new car. He gonna put you to 2017 Ford Focus. He tight as giraffe coochie. He's sickly. You don't want to be bothered. Don't let that man take your youth from you. Leave that one alone. Go back to Chris. I know you probably don't. Chris was did it. Chris love that girl. He just got issues. Okay, Chris just got issues, and you just gonna have to gear up to be Mother Goose for all them damn kids he done had. But every woman that Chris has had after Karuchi look just like Karuchi. So that should tell you something. Leave that old man alone. Let him go figure it out with somebody else his own age. Don't let him soak up your youth.
Wow. Ooh. Tough shit, man. Sis was tough. That's Ask Tiffany T. Ask A-S-K Tiffany T. Okay. Whoo. Okay. And I think she's on Instagram, right? Man, tough words. Okay. And I am going to try to say my opinion on this as much as I can. And listen, I realize that they have a private life. It's people's, business, what they do. Karuchi's 37, supposed to be 37 years old. you know, you could do what you want to. But I'm just gonna take it as if this was one of my little nieces, my little niece cousins, and I saw them up in the hospital with Deion Sanders crying. I'd be like, oh shit. Okay. Um, what would I tell them? I would probably say this is the wrong lick to hit too. Um, you often hear the stories of women in Hollywood. Hollywood is such a hard, a lot of people don't know, one of the toughest jobs to do and is to be famous, or to just doing work in the arts. The arts, the creative arts, can be very daunting. But you don't just have to make a living. You can make a living at different ways in the arts. Okay, you can. But what goes on in Hollywood a lot of times is imaging and the idea of you living a certain way and stuff like that. And a lot of women in Hollywood, a lot of times jobs when you're in the creative arts, your jobs are here and there. They flow. Sometimes you're getting work consistently. Sometimes you're not. And especially when you're just caught up in that Hollywood system and the SAG effect and all of that stuff. It's very different, okay? The film industry, for one, unlike theater is very different because people who are in the theater, you can always find work around here, baby, if you really want to. Theater is is so many things. But theater, there's always a stage play. There's always this and that going on. There's always a way to spread out your creative juices if you need to, okay? Film is hard because once you're seen on television and once you're seen consistently on television and you consistently seen like Carucci was with had a boyfriend, Chris Brown, then she had that other boyfriend that was a ball player or something like that. So when you're seen consistently with in this lifestyle, right, you feel like you got to keep that up. It's hard for you to want to go get a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a job at wherever you need to get, and they living differently, right? So a lot of times these women will go after the highest bidder, or somebody who can fund that lifestyle, because they got to keep up with their, with their shit. They living in LA on top of that. LA, the most expensive fucking place on the planet. And they're trying to, navigate auditions, trying to navigate relationships, everything. Hollywood can be very, very hard on women, particularly young women. And I remember I talked about Cola Booth. The first time I heard about women, like actresses allegedly selling themselves across the seas and stuff like that, was me and Cola on Twitter was having a discussion. And Cola said, "You do know that?" And I'm like, "No, are you serious?" This was years ago. I was in shock. She said, "Let me tell you why." And she said, because when they're in between jobs, some of these actresses don't make enough money. Everybody's not Halle Berry in Halle Berry was making $20 million a film, I think, at one point, and it took her years probably to get there. Halle Berry is probably the biggest black actress in Hollywood, like in terms of pay. Lots of them don't get paid very well. And so the next thing you do is find a man whose wealth can sustain you. So that's why you often see these girls going around to football players, basketball players, this and that, because they need, not all the time, but sometimes they need someone to sustain their life. And it's hard to go down to a regular thing when you've been trying to, trying to get your life together. And Carucci got out there. I don't know, was Carucci's plan always to be an actress? She actually got into Hollywood because she was Chris Brown's girlfriend right after Rihanna, right? And so that's where her popularity and stuff came from. And then, you know, it's like Amber Rose almost a little bit. Then she has to pivot into something else. So saying that, it isn't surprised that a young lady like her who's been out there, and she might be in between jobs right now and everything like that. Like the woman said, you might be trying to find this older man who can sustain your lifestyle and everything like that. I'm just going by what I've seen on reality TV. Dion may have changed, I don't know. But I feel the woman could be somewhat right. Even the situation with Pilar beforehand, years ago, was a really messy situation when he divorced. I remember first seeing Deion Sanders, and listen, Deion could have changed. Humans evolve, okay? So I'm not saying he hasn't changed. I'm just saying from what I've seen on TV and what I've heard, okay? Deion Sanders was once on television. I remember when Pilar and him did their first show. I used to watch it all the time. Their first, reality show when kids were little. And the introduction of the show, I remember I knew they weren't going to work out because Dion was like, Pilar was showing people around the house, and then she showed her closet or something. And he said something, and he said, you can go back out of there. He said, you be leaving back with that little bag you came in with. I was like, well, she's like, you better shut up, like laughing or whatever. But it didn't seem like a joke, and it didn't seem appropriate at the time to say. It was really kind of mean to me. I was like, oh, like, and even when she was being married, like she'd want to bring in sometimes chefs or something to help her because she had about 2 kids at the time. The kids were little, 3 kids. And he was so like adamant against it, like just acting, it did come off cheap, okay? And so even with Tracy had her own money, so he had a reality show during the Tracy times. Tracy had her own money, but you could clearly see that Dion wasn't budging off of like looking at Tracy as a wife. And let me just say this: women like Tracy, yes, Tracy had something, I think a little something going on before Babyface, but child, that was Babyface money. We ain't gonna play no games around here. I mean, Tracy may have had the brains, but Babyface buddy got that production company, baby, and that and all that stuff. Listen, she can't. Hey, having 2 kids with Babyface was good business. Okay, let me tell you something. Like Tracy, I call Tracy Edmonds this is the sister that needs to write a book. Okay, because this is a sister who got married to a nice R&B singer. And not only did she turn him from an R&B singer, she probably didn't have the money. I'm sure she didn't have the money that Babyface had. But this is how you this is how you get a wife. Sometimes you gotta find them in the rough. She was supposed to be in a video, a Babyface video, and she didn't get a chance to get it. She got it sick. But she just happened to be at something that Babyface was at. Her and her mama, I think they slicked her. But she said her mom passed away now, but they happened to see Babyface, and that's how they exchanged numbers. And she became Babyface's wife, and she married. And listen, when she married Babyface, talk about a woman who maybe, I don't know, he said they both said they just fell out of love, but talking about a woman who changed who he was in the game. This woman came into his life, whether they didn't do well, you know, from a emotional, but from a paper standpoint, and what she did for his business, what she did for his brand in the entertainment business. She expanded that brand. That's a dope motherfucker right there. I tell people I stand Tracy Edmonds all the fucking time, okay? Because I was like, that's how you supposed to mother. She might not have had it all smart. I don't know what was going on in the marriage and shit. I heard some shit and stuff like that. Hey, I don't know. But what I will say she did for Babyface, that motherfucker came in there and rebranded him. She made him not just a producer, singer. She expanded him to the film industry. She expanded him with other artists. Tracy ain't no Tracy seizes a motherfucking moment. That bitch ain't no joke. I tell people all the time, that motherfucker ain't no joke. She deserved every penny, Babyface. Every penny. That motherfucker deserved every penny. And because she expand, by the time she leaves Babyface, she's a powerhouse in of herself in Hollywood. That's how you supposed to do it, girls. That's how you supposed to do it. Listen, I always tell people, look at the Proverbs 30, what is it, Proverbs 31 woman? We gotta talk about child. I hate to get to preaching on y'all. But it's a proverb. Child, we gotta talk about that, honey. Is this the one? Let me see if I got it here. We got a. This is important because I'm getting ready to talk about this Karuchi thing, okay? So. Let me see. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, God, that got them on me in. Is this just the images? Hold on, y'all. I'm getting there. Okay. Okay. What shall I say? Let me see. Okay. A wife, this is Proverbs 31, verse 10, and it says, the virtues of a noble woman. And I think this is coming from, I don't know if this is this a king? Which version of this is it? Let me see. Give y'all the King James version. Okay. Okay, so who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax. Now, this is the part I want y'all to hear, okay? She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brightens her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buyeth. Okay, this is what the part I want y'all to listen to. She considers a field and buyeth with the fruit of her hands. She planted a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength. Okay, so he's not just talking about a woman that is beautiful and gets behind her man and everything like that. And a lot of men use this Proverbs 31, meaning that there's a lot of wives out here that get behind these men and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want to do. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about men who already have an established household, established thing about where they're going. They understand who they are. Because a lot of times people get married and they are like, they get married and they didn't understand each other's purpose and they're out of alignment. They shouldn't have probably got married, right? That's what just tell y'all the truth. A lot of people, hey, y'all got free wheels out here, all right? So you end up maybe outgrowing or not being able to get along or something like that because you find yourself not knowing his purpose and he doesn't know your purpose, right? But Tracy comes in there understanding who Babyface is true, definitely, and understanding herself very well, I think. That's why I said I'd love for her to write a book. God, girl, write a book. But just understanding herself and being able to create something, producing some of the biggest movies in the 90s, from black movies in the 90s. I mean, a shout out to her. She is that woman that considers a field and buys it with her husband. She understands she's working with her husband's dollars. And she turns that stuff over in the way it should be. Okay. But that is because, and she was able to do that. Let me explain why. My personal opinion. She came into a man who was already very established, understood who he was, didn't mind sharing with her in that way. I think in the end, they were a little hurt. I think he was a little hurt about how the divorce proceeding went and everything. And she got a lot of money, I think. But she was a woman who came in there. She gave, not only did she have 2 children, but when these babies were little, Tracy was creating an empire, a separate empire within that marriage. And one thing Babyface can't say is Tracy came in there and motherfucking slacked. Tracy came in there and she understood who he was, and she took who he was and continued in the entertainment vein. She's still in the vein of Babyface. She's still complimenting him and expands that empire. Expands it. Smartly so. You know what I'm saying? So shout out. So I say that is because Dion had a woman like that already who was older, around his age group. But she's moving. This is a woman that doesn't need Dion. Okay. In the case of Karrueche is out here, a young girl. She's been dating different men in the entertainment industry, allegedly. And I agree with this woman. 37, trying to find your fucking self. Count down the timing is, you counting down the time. Like, oh shit. Like, these eggs, you know what I'm saying? What am I do? My eggs is. And this man comes along and he may take you some fancy dinners and all that, and you are not looking at his past, which you should be. To tell you, and now he's in a state in his life where he is now going to be needing you because he's sick. He's gonna treat you different. But also remember, this man has a bunch of children and he has 2 ex-wives behind him and an ex-girlfriend who was a mogul. So look at him. This is what I would say to Karrueche. Look at him with clear eyes, baby. Clear eyes, okay? And understand that the game would be different if he wasn't sick, I believe. That's just I'm just going to tell you the fucking opinion, my opinion. The game would be different. And so now you are the youthful thing that he needs to. Tracy like, damn it, I got out just in fucking time. That ain't right. I had a friend, I gotta tell this story. She gonna be laughing if she listens to the show. I had a friend who, like, she was with this man for years, right? But he just was like, he couldn't get his shit together. They be going back and forth, and all this stuff. My friend said, he's starting to not take care of himself and stuff like that. And I said, well, girl, she said, I done warned him. I told him to get himself together and shit. You get your wives early, blah, blah, blah. But she said, but if he don't start taking care of himself, I'm the fuck out of here, because I didn't sign up for no shit like this. And he had already been putting pressure on her and putting her through shit. Listen, it ain't funny, though. It ain't funny, but it's funny. So she's like, he wasn't listening. He was like kind of still being mean to her, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. He was a good dude, but he just didn't understand. He didn't have no stable, you know what I'm saying? It was weird, okay? So, and then they were coming to a point where they was unraveling, So my friend was like, bitch, I'm out. Like, she left, before. And about 2 years later, he was really sickly. And she said, shit, I got out just in time. She told me on the phone. I said, you ain't shit. She said, girl, that motherfucker was about to have me up in hospital. I'm at the age where I'm supposed to be enjoying my life. I'm supposed to be out here on the high seas, having a good time. This motherfucker want me up in the hospital. Right? But the reason she said that was like me and her was talking. I said, but you weren't saying that because he was getting. She said, no, I was saying. She said if he had gotten sick and just something had happened while they were in the relationship, and it wasn't, she didn't, it's just something happened out the blue or something like that. She said, of course I'm down. I'm taking care of him. Yes, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down to help him. She said, but because he wasn't listening to me and taking care of himself when I kept asking him to, I knew where he was going, and I knew where I was going. She was saying in my age, where I was at my age and where I was trying to go. She said, not that nothing can't happen to me to stop me, what I'm saying, God forbid. She said, but I was taking care of myself and trying to do the right things so that we could have a better, what I'm saying, situation together. She said, he was not. And she said, plus he just didn't know where he wanted to go. And she said she just felt that she was staying too long, that the introduction to his sickness for her was that she was staying a little too long in the shit. She was like, oh no, this shit's about to get bad, and he gonna arrest the rest of my time in my life if I don't jump ship now. And so she said she started figuring out her shit, trying to figure out her money, figure out whatever else, figure out her shit so she wouldn't be arrested by his shit. Let me say this to you, Karuchi. You 37 years old, okay? This man done already got a new bladder. I'm going to be honest, Karuchi. This man is for a 45-year-old, 50-year-old who's, what I'm saying, keeps herself up, got her shit together, got her own money, might want to be bothered, like his status and shit like that. I'm being honest. I'm being honest for now. If you in love with him, I do. If love is love, is love is love. Okay, but just still think about it. Okay, you are 37. You are in the prime of your life, and this isn't a man he already has 2 ex-wives, and he has like 4 or 5 children. Okay, now you can have a baby in that. I mean, what is Dion worth? About 100 million, 60, 70 million, something like that. And you can get a part of that estate if that's something you want to do. Babies, I always tell women, babies might ensure a paycheck, but them motherfuckers is hard to raise, okay? You know what I'm saying? Now, I love the kids. Listen, I have my little niece cousin in her toddler years. And when she was a little bitty, when she was young, like baby, me and my granny was taking care of her. Child, let me tell you, okay? I learned, I was like, this little mofo. Every time I wanted some food, my food, I was like, wait a minute, didn't I just feed you? Kicking, looking at me like, child. I'm like, good. I mean, I had the experience of a child. For a year, and I was like, how the hell y'all do it? I asked my friend, I said, I don't know how the hell y'all do it. Oh my God. Entertaining her was a lot. She's a grown woman now, but oh my God, she's a baby. Entertaining her little ass. I would take her to the grocery store. She'd be in the grocery store, something not on top of, I used to teach her, I'm black and I'm proud, but she would never say it till she got in the grocery store in front of white people. I'm black. And she couldn't say I'm proud, so all she said is, I'm back. And then people be like, oh, she's so pretty. What did she say? And I was like, I don't know. I'm back. She be in their face going, I'm back. I'll be like, oh, no. And then she love to cuss. Like my grandfather would say shit. She would learn, she'd be like, oh, shit, out loud. I'd be like, stop it. It's like you had to learn how to talk around her. Everything. She was like a little sponge. Okay, kids are hard work, especially the formative years. Changing diapers and shit, making sure. If I didn't have my grandma there, I'd been like, oh, hell no. And I was keeping her because my family members, they needed us to take care of her at that time. And so we went to California to get her. And listen, it was one of the best times, but shit, that shit was hard. But I was a good ass mommy, okay? But if I didn't have my grandma, it's talking about, girl, we gotta put her ass on the schedule and all that stuff. So you know what I'm saying? So I learned so much. Children are no joke. So to have a baby for a check is a dumb thing to do because you begin to burden yourself for the next 18 years with a child, and this man possibly might give you the things you need to be able to do your own thing. So what I would say to a young lady like her, with wisdom, pull back as much as you can when you can financially. Get on your feet, even if that means you might have to get a little job. Man, you had to move to another city. You had to move out of LA. Ah, damn. I hate to say this, but if you got your dreams, live your dreams. You know what I'm saying? But if you got to move out of LA for a minute and build your finances up or something like that, maybe do so. But this is going to be a hard, either way that I see it, I'm kind of with this lady. This might be hard, baby. This might be hard. Like, you know, dealing with, just telling you. And this is dealing with a man who has not been good in relationships his most of his life. And now he's finding himself facing mortality. And you are 37. And I know you're feeling the time ticking. Clock, clock, tick, 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 tick. Listen, what God has for you is for you. And the choices you make, yes, they have weight and they have consequences. But trust me on this. If this is a lick for you, do not do this lick, okay? If it is a lick for you, you know, because sometimes it be a lick. If this is a lick for you, the money ain't worth it, baby girl, okay? Ain't worth having trying to have no baby, bringing a baby in there on 5 or 6 kids already that's getting ready to split the estate. When I see 5 or 6 kids, I'm like, that's a estate. How many is it? If I'm your age, now my age is different. If I'm single out there at my age, I'm a Dion, I can get that, okay? Because Dion, my ass done had some health problems. You know what I'm saying? So I already know. Dion's a lick for me, okay? You know what I'm saying? I'm 50. You know what I'm a beautiful 50-something year. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he a lick, but he's a good choice. You know what I'm saying? If I get out here saying Dion would be a good, and then I still be second guessing his ass because I be like, well, damn, shit, he ain't moving like he was about 4 years ago. What's this looking like? And I ain't either, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said to myself recently, I went to the doctor recently and I said, listen here, because I don't know when in life gonna happen, okay? My grandma always taught me, keep that, baby, you supposed to keep the porch light on. I remember I came home one time and she said, I said, my doctor talking about, I need to get this weight off me. She said, girl, she right. I said, what? She said, girl, she right. I said, what you mean? She was talking about, she said, girl, you done got comfortable, honey. You can't be comfortable. I said, shit, you right. I done got comfortable with my ass. You know what I'm saying? You can't help. Life delivers you unexpected things. You know, anybody can get sick, hurt. Anybody can get anything. Anything can happen at any time. You could get paralyzed, anything, God forbid, anything can happen. But those are things that happen that life delivers. But in terms of what choices you have to make over your life and your body and how you live, Dion has had his time. Dion was out there at one time in his time. Matter of fact, let me tell you something, Karuchi. I was at the club one time with Dion. Back in the day, that motherfucker was living and he was married. Allegedly. I was at the club and they was partying. He done had his party. He been out there in them streets doing his life. Now he want to come up there and suck your shit up because he getting old and he getting, you know what I'm saying? I might agree with this. I like me some Dion, but listen, he is a good choice for a woman like in her 50s, for, who's getting herself together, who got herself together and been working a long time, you know what I'm saying? And she want to combine her money and live in her soft girl era. Yeah, shit. Theon's a good ass choice, okay? And she don't want no more kids, and she can be a good, has an older woman. She can be a fabulous little stepmom to the older kids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you are 37. You don't want that. You don't want the smoke of, you got to deal with them kids, them older kids, and they looking at you because you are an enemy to the estate. Because they looking at you like, is this motherfucker going to have more kids? Right. And you trying to have you want a baby. If you do it, you getting older. But if you have a baby, you want a baby with a person that might be a little healthy at this time. You know what I'm saying? You got choices, girl. And you're pretty. Pretty. But if you love the man, hey, well, love is a strong thing. You know what I'm saying? And you want to walk him through this time. I always tell girls, here's my thing. If it was my little cousin nieces, I'd be like, you can't be emotional. You got to look at things from some logical standpoints. You know what I'm saying? I know you motherfucking might need health insurance, but you can always, you got some family back at home. You got somebody you can stay with. I mean, you gotta see. Sometimes it's you gotta believe in the power of you. And I really say this, and the reason why I took this to talk about is because I know it is important. This is important young thing that young ladies are facing anyway. You know what I'm saying, in their life. And hold on just a second here, y'all. Okay, this is an important little thing that young ladies, women are facing all over. I can tell you, you're 37. Leverage your youth wisely. Leverage your social cachet wisely. Expand your social cachet, even if that means going back to work for somebody while you're trying to figure out your dreams of acting or whatever it is. But whatever you do, you're 37 now. Don't get caught up in trying to, you know what I'm saying, hit the wrong lick. You know what I'm saying? Your life, 37 is a long time. God bless. God, and you only get one life. You know what I'm saying? I try to tell girls from my mistakes. I said, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in urban America in the 80s and the 90s, 70s, 80s, or 70s and 80s in urban America. And I was a young woman by the time the 90s hit. And I was a church girl essentially, but I still do the urban streets in the hood and stuff like that. And I just didn't understand what I could do in the world around me. You know what I'm saying? I had an understanding, but not quite an understanding. And there are so many fears that you have when you're a young woman, you know what I'm saying, out there. But never once, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. And I probably maybe I should have hit some licks. I don't know, I ain't gonna tell you that I hit a lick. But I'm gonna tell you, I was just blessed. I had people around me, a support system, people who loved me, and I didn't have to. There were some things I didn't have to do. You know what I'm saying? So I had places to go. I had people who could help me. I had friends who helped me. Even when I was in school, people helped me. You know what I'm saying? I was just blessed. But what I wish I would have understood with that time was how to use that in an expansive. Now I'm doing it now. But I'm a lot older. But I wish I would have learned to do it in my 20s, in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? So there would have been, I was starting to learn how to do it, but I would have been that much further ahead. And sometimes as a young woman, you don't need to go hit a lick. You need to take your little ass, you 37 years old, take your ass to a relative, somebody you love or somebody, and get your life together. Get your life together. Figure it out. Figure out your money, your finance. Sometimes it's hard to do the motherfucking work. Like people, it's hard because I think I avoided the work so much. It was, you know what I'm saying? If I could do, if I could skip and I was traveling a lot. I was kicking it. You know what I'm saying? If I could go back, I would have built more. You know what I'm saying? I would have focused more and understood, motherfucker, you better calm your little ass down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, and sometimes when you get to the hard spaces, like I think Karuchi is at right now, and I'm not saying I don't know Karuchi's business. Maybe she in love, okay? And maybe even if she is in love, I don't know. Maybe she decides she want to be a caregiver. Maybe that's her thing, okay? But what I'm saying is that when I got to those choices and spaces in my life where I had to make the hard decision, sometimes, and let me tell you this, sometimes you in a quagmire. Like if you a young girl and you in a relationship, you in some sort of marriage or something like that. Or like if Karuchi was married to Dion, I'd be advising her differently. Okay, like, not that I'm an advisor, but I would be just giving my wisdom from the years I've been here and the life and the lives I've seen play out in front of me. I would have told her, you have to ease out of marriages. Marriages are different because you've combined things. You did it, you got health insurance, you got all kind of shit. So you gotta you gotta slowly entangle that shit, and you gotta be prepared to jump out of a motherfucking marriage. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You can't just jump out, so sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't, okay? So it would depend on what kind of things and stuff you built up in the marriage. But for her, I don't want her to even get there. Like sometimes God is calling you to build your own shit, really, for real. And then maybe a man who will come along. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with no man coming along helping out. I like a man being a man. Man help you get that, the coin. He got the coin. He like, baby, put you in your soft girl era. Shit, ain't nothing wrong with that. I had a relative who got her soft girl era in her 60s. Okay. Yes, mama got her soft girl era in her 60s, baby, okay? So don't red pill, that ain't true out here in these streets. And he ain't no simp either. And a little older, right? Just a few years older. So, that's why sometimes there is a man that will come along when you building your own life and you're building your thing, and stuff like that, and will say, you know what, I like you, I want to help you, I want to do this. But in case he don't, sometimes you have to go back and do that work. And it is, I know, baby girl, it's hard. But it ain't going to be no harder than, you see, it's going to seem easy at Dion at first. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the money, you got the place, maybe a nice little place. He might be paying for a condo, shit. You can go out to auditions, and if you want to do that, I would put a timetable on it. Like if he paying for your condo and all that stuff and your bills and stuff, then, you need to put a timetable on it because you don't know how long he going to do it. And you need to be, you might need to do a little job or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And you can be auditioning and doing, whatever you need to do. But also understand that may be limited time. You got to be very wise. So, build yourself up in the best way possible at that time. For this time. So I'm saying this for all young girls. I'm not just talking to Karuchi. Karuchi's really not a young girl. She's an older woman. But she's been in Hollywood, which has created a young girl energy around her. You know what I'm saying? And as you age in Hollywood, these guys who can get younger women and all these things, suddenly you might find yourself disposable. Now, I don't think Chris Brown, they said something on his Twitter about her. Okay, here's the deal with Chris. Chris would have to straighten his fucking ass out. I won't go back to Chris's ass. Chris crazy. Chris got to straighten it out. Chris, you got to be ready to grow up. Shit. Now, Chris would be a good catch if he's growing the fuck up. Because all them girls, that girl lady is right. All them girls don't look like you. So I don't know. I don't know if you want to go back there. I can see it if there is a changing of the. Do not spin the block if the block ain't new. Okay. Do not, and it's Mercury retrograde. Do not try to spin the block in Mercury retrograde. You got fools out here trying to spin the block in Mercury retrograde. You know, everybody, when Mercury retrograde happens, your exes, everybody know exes come back. People come back. You're not thinking correctly in Mercury retrograde. Okay? So, hold on, y'all. I'm getting something. Okay. So, you know, if you out here, you know, you don't spin the block right now. Unless you really thought it out, okay? Because your feelings are intensified, hurt, feel. You know, I always tell people, listen, people a lot of times spin the block because they don't want to do the work. That's the fucking truth. That's the fucking truth. They don't want to do the work. It's so much easier to go back where I was. You know, that motherfucker's easy. I know who that motherfucker is. I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got to put up with no bullshit. I ain't got to put up with nobody challenging me. I know the fuck, you blah, blah, blah. He know the fuck how I roll. She know the fuck how I roll. You know what I'm saying? And it's really that you just don't want to do no work on yourself. Like you don't really, so you end up spinning the block on somebody like we telling, like the lady was telling Carucci, she said, well, you might have to be mother hen to all them kids. It got funny. But you telling Carucci to spin the block with somebody like that, but that's because she's not doing the work. You gotta do the work. You have to. Girls, I'm telling you, do the work. Don't be afraid. I know. Trust me. Your big sis is telling you, not your auntie, your big sister. Your big sister is telling you, this is the best time of your life. From the 20s to your 40s and 50s is good, baby. Okay, let me tell you. But we at 40s, in our 40s and 50s, we are looking back at the mistakes. And that's life. Everybody got motherfucking, life gonna hand you some regrets and some mistakes. Trust me on that. If you live long enough, you gonna have, that's how you learn lessons. But we wanna avoid you learning bad lessons, okay? So if you gonna spin the motherfucking block on Chris Brown, make sure that block is clean. You know what I'm saying? Don't spin the block because you don't want to do the fucking work, because you'll end up with some bullshit, right? And that bullshit will show up later. You know, just do the fucking work. Like, do the fucking work it takes. And I know it ain't easy. It ain't easy to straighten out yourself. It ain't easy. It's embarrassing to go back after you. Listen, I had those moments when I'm in my 20s. I'm going to tell you. One of the times I was like, everybody was expecting me to graduate. I was in my 4th year at ORU, Oral Roberts University, wearing myself the fuck out, okay? Because I love the school. I love the people I met there. My God, just some beautiful people, okay? And I remember going to class one day and then going to, I went to chapel. And the man preached a sermon, and he said, if you quit now, he said, it's going to be this and that or whatever. And I remember hearing this sermon and just being like, I just don't care at this point. I was so tired. And at the time, what I didn't realize as a young girl is I was avoiding the hard work. There was a young lady that I used to look at every day. I'd admire her so much. I admired this young lady. I would watch her she would be by herself in her books, just always just really wise about her shit. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, you guys, hold on. I'm going to have to take a quick break. I know I'm talking to y'all, but let me take a quick break. Hold on just a second. Okay, guys. All right, so yeah, but it was a young lady I admired. I watched her. She didn't have a lot of friends. She always was focused. And one day, I had this guy who was really popular, was a fun guy. We were all good friends, and he knew her. And so we were walking. And I said, "Oh, she's so." I said, "I look at her all the time. She's always got her focus on." And he introduced us, and she was just so kind, so nice, but so focused, so smart, you know. And I was like, I found myself. I said, I wish I had done what you've done. And she said to me, it has not been easy. It has been one of the most loneliest times for me. And I was like, yeah. She said, but you know what? She said, it's been worth it. I had everybody pulling at me. You know, I was friends with people. I was dating, you know. I was having a good time. You know, I was going to church things. I was working at the time, I think, for Lindsay Roberts. I was doing all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, but everything was pulling at me. But I wasn't doing the hard work of sitting down, sitting your ass down, telling everybody, go, get out the way. I got to focus now. And I realized that I had not done the work. And, but she said the thing that I was afraid of. She said, it's been lonely for me. But she said, I'm glad I did it. I'm sure she's somewhere of success right now. I'm sure of it, okay? I will say that that's what happens. A lot of times people, young ladies, you will not make, maybe you don't want to do, you're at a space and time in your life. And, you know, if you meet a nice guy who's wealthy and it's that time or something like that, he can ease your life and help your life, yes. But also look at the dynamics of everything. I always look at the dynamics of everything. A lot of times you need to do some work. You ain't got to be perfect, but you got to do the work. So when I wouldn't want to advise her to spin the block, because in order to spin the block, you have to have done the work. Because if you spin the block and you the same motherfucker that was on the block before, and you move it back up in some shit that it don't work. It just don't fucking work. I'd have been out here and spit some blocks. You have to do the work. Do the work. A lot of times as a young lady, you've been used to these dudes out in Hollywood paying your shit, doing your shit. No, you may have to, God may be calling you to sit your tail down somewhere, find you a job, or find you maybe not a job. I'm not saying a regular job, but maybe some sort of thing to you, come to you and build it again. And then you could go back to the spaces you were in and you'll have a fresh perspective on them. But don't spin the block if you have not done the work. Don't spin the block because, you know, and I'll say this for a lot of people. Don't spin the block because you see people. I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to say it the nice way. If you haven't done the work on yourself, and I don't know why I'm getting into this. I'm getting into this I say this for everyone. If you have not done the work on yourself and you keep constantly spinning the block in relationships or going back, or every time you try to find a relationship to fulfill that boredom, that hard spot that you got to go through, like you can't. I heard somebody say, who was I listening to the other night? 50 Cent. 50 Cent was talking about celibacy. And he was saying, it was weird, him saying it, but he said, you know, you see people with fresh perspective when you, you know, you've had celibacy. But he said, it's hard. It's hard because you saying, I gotta grow up, I gotta be, 50 Cent essentially was saying, I'm trying to become a businessman. I'm trying to be a man and I gotta be disciplined. I gotta do the fucking work. And I can't be out here screwing everybody, because screwing everybody, it hinders my perspective. Even if there's a part of me that enjoys debauchery. You know what I'm saying? There's parts of people that enjoy debauchery. I realized very early in my life, when I was young, I said, you know what? I have to have discipline towards dating and guys, because I like guys. I like men. So I was like, and men were my friends. I hung around me, a lot. So yeah, but I had to develop discipline in that, so that I wouldn't be no hoe out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you're required as young ladies to do the work. And I would say to Karuchi, don't ruin nobody's life spinning the block. All it's gonna do is put you back in the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Do not do that. And people like to spin the block and stuff when they see, like if somebody's moving on and stuff like that, motherfuckers start coming like, oh, I know, I want, you done see. So you see they doing something good with somebody else, and they, and you done fucked up. So now you want to fucking come in. They don't really like you. Let me tell you that, okay? I've had that happen. They don't like you. If a man don't see who you are, he only had several months out that relationship or whatever, and he don't see like whatever the situation, or she don't see, or however it go, I don't know shit. If people don't see you, and they try to, because you done moved on with somebody else and something, then all of a sudden they like, well shit, I'm about to lose them. Like, fuck you. No. Like, no. If you see they have not changed, they have not done no fucking work, all they doing is mad because they energy has been taken up by somebody else. They ain't got that source no more. So mofos will come after you to spin. That's just a side part. Mofos will come after you, try to spin the block after you, when you done gave them a long time to get their shit together. I'm ready, baby, I'm ready to give you all of my love. Girl, I'm tired of playing games. So many girls I can't even name. Fuck that. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? No, because what are you coming for? What is the deal? You had these times, you really don't. You just see me doing something with somebody else, and getting back with you won't make this happen. Do the work. I say that to y'all. That's my advice for spin the blockers. Do the work on that, okay? Before you spin the block, do the fucking work. Don't go back and ruin nobody's life. Take nobody out of shit. Get somebody's heart out on the line, and all the fuck you gonna do? You know that you ain't ready for shit. And learn the practice of good communication so that you can say, hey, you know what? I need to work on me. I like you, but I need to work on. Okay. So I just said that. That's a freebie. But there, yeah, I see this deal with Karuchi, and that's definitely what I would say. I agree with that lady. I think, but Dion may have changed a lot, but I also believe Dion is at a different stage in his life versus Karuchi. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, I say the same thing if it was a woman who had a older woman who was going through I mean, they had something like this on Sex and the City. I think, remember one day, I think Samantha had a younger boyfriend, and she was going through breast cancer. But the only thing I would say about him, he was with her when Samantha was super healthy. And him and Samantha helped his career. He helped her career. It was like they were together during the best of times, and she just happened to get breast cancer. So that I can understand that. But now, if you just now getting with a mofo, and they starting to break down, Well, they had a little bit of a different alignment. They had an alignment where they got to start to help get themselves healthy. Unless you are older, like I said, unless you're an older woman who has more understanding and empathy and patience usually for that. But for younger girls, you, even at 37, you are at a different place. And, you know, if you're wanting children, you have to look at that. I don't know how how does this affect his, you know, does he want more kids? He's got about 4 or 5. And how does this illness affect his ability to have children? Or maybe you don't want kids. Some women don't want kids, okay? Those are all the things you have to think about, young ladies. So it's just not hitting a lick from an old dude who got some money. If the old dude is breaking the fuck up and he got 5 to 6 kids, now if he's an old dude and ain't got that many kids, you know, something like that, 1 kid, something crazy, I might say, he worth $67 million. I might say, maybe. And he didn't have Dion's background, okay? But Dion's background is being like this lady has said, alleged. And to me, Karuchi, you are an avoidance for Dion doing the work and yourself doing the work. It's my personal opinion. I don't know y'all business, but this is what people ask me to give my opinion on it. That now it could be completely wrong, and I don't know them, but I'm just saying looking from the outside in, and what I would advise one of my little niece cousins. I'd be like, you at a different stage in your life, and you don't want to do the work. You need to do the work, and he's at a different stage in his life, and he needs to get the fuck healthy. Ain't nobody rolling him around in a wheelchair. Shoot, you 30-some years old. You ain't got time for the bullshit. I can see if she's been with him for like 10 years. You know, 15 years. She's been with him a long time, and he just happened to get sick. But no. Like, you've been with him a few months, about a couple years or something like that. Hell no. Use wisdom, my love. Use wisdom. I will say that, okay? You know what I'm saying? You too young to be going through that, okay? Speaking of old men that like young women, talk about not doing the work, talking about the price that has to be paid. Shannon Sharpe. You ready to talk about Shannon Sharpe? This is from rhymeswithsnitch.com. 2 weeks ago, Shannon Sharpe settled the $50 million civil lawsuit filed by an ex-girlfriend accusing him of sexual battery. Now Shannon has officially been cut by ESPN from NBC Sports. Shannon Sharpe will not be returning to ESPN. According to Andrew Marchand of the Athletic.com, ESPN has cut ties with Sharpe after the Hall of Famer settled a lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault. The settlement was announced by the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, earlier in July. Sharpe said Sharpe has strongly denied the allegations and stepped away from his role at ESPN, where he was featured on First Take. While he had previously vowed to return, that now will not be the case. Sharpe had not been on ESPN since April, okay? I personally don't think NBC should get rid of him for this. I really don't. I think Shannon is a really good commentator. I think Shannon deserves to kind of rehabilitate himself, maybe a suspension of Shannon for maybe a year or 2 years, but for this girl who's on OnlyFans and it seemed like a little bit of a lot, you can tell he just had to hurry up and sell this so he could get back to trying to get back to work or get some similar thing. So this is, you know, I believe everybody, a lot of people, if you can in life, you deserve, you know, people deserve second chances. Now, for Shannon, what I would say, Shannon has not been a man who has been out here just like refusing to grow up. And it cost you allegedly almost $20-some million because you was fucking around with a 19-year-old who played you. It's hard, you know, because I'm a youthful spirit my damn self, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to find that balance of being my age at 52, because I don't feel 52, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to find that balance of always having some maturity. Here's what I've learned. life has to deliver you the lessons of a 52-year-old. You can still have a youthful spirit, be youthful, go out, dance, party, have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Everything. But life has to also have delivered you some maturity, some depth, some wisdom. And when you have that, you can recognize situations that are important for you that you should get in, maybe you shouldn't. You're still learning in life. You know what I'm saying? I went through something. I'm just, like, I had to recognize, I went through something the other day and I was like, damn, I let that take a lot of my life. I should have known this was, I was thinking about a situation I had and I was hoping for, and I was like, that shouldn't have let that. I should have saw that shit right up. And I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And so I let a specific thing, I was like, that I was trying to work on a project, and I was like, let it waste my time. So when you get older, you're going to have, me and like Shannon Sharp, he's wealthy, you got a lot of money. Here's the big thing. The maturity is in learning to be wise in how you choose partnerships and how you choose love. Shannon Sharp should have been past the groupie shit. You fucking 56 years old. The fuck you doing running around with groupies? Like, you should have had that time in your 20s and your 30s. And if you was a wise person, I would say the 20 and 30-year-olds don't even do that. If you wise, the more you get the lesson, the earlier you get the lesson, the better you'll become. But now he's finding himself at 50-some years old. He got grown kids, possibly having grandkids. And he can't pass the wealth on because he couldn't fucking mature. And that really is about other things. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is a do the work day. Do the work. We got to do the work day. Okay. Let's see. All right, we talked about Trump considering pardoning Diddy. Okay, listen to this. Okay, it says Deion Sanders' sons found out about his cancer diagnosis at the press conference. What? Now, Carucci was up in there and knew it. This week, college football coach Deion Sanders held a press conference and announced he had beaten cancer after having bladder removed. Deion's two youngest sons, Shador and Shiloh, found out at the press conference along with everybody else. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know how long he's been messing with that young girl, but to me, that's a sign of immaturity too. She is a young lady that you probably brought in your life within the last year or two. Your children, I would be pissed if I was his ex. I'd be like, let me tell you something. Your children should have not found out at a fucking press conference, no matter how wise you thought that was, no matter how, because they got to deal with shit long after you're gone. That shows there's not a depth of maturity either right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just really saying, I'm just looking at that. But it says, Deion Sanders explained why he kept his bladder cancer diagnosis a secret from his two young sons, Shiloh and Shador. My sons to this day don't know what transpired. Deion, 57, said during Monday, July 28th press conference at the University of Colorado, I just told them it was something with my foot. I wanted them to focus on making a team and not focused on dead. They really don't know. Deion's bladder cancer was discovered on April 14th, just 10 days before the start of the 2025 NFL draft. Deion said his three daughters and oldest son, Deion Jr., were aware of his cancer diagnosis, okay? So he did tell his other kids. He just didn't tell the two sons that were going to the NFL camp, okay? But listen, Carucci, you don't want these problems. I'm just going to tell you that, right? I agree with that lady. I think this is something I think this is a matter of doing the work for yourself. And if you like Deion after you've done the work for yourself and he's had a chance to heal and like his life and see his life going well and y'all come together, y'all grown ass people, No problem in that. But when you're out here and if you desperate, you know, you what I'm saying, you desperate for a check, you know what I'm saying? Let me get with the eye. And you would never admit it. But if you are, you know, you got to think. I always just tell you, young ladies, really, don't get yourself caught up. Don't get yourself caught up in something. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Caught up in something that could change the course of your life. You got to be wise, okay? And I just don't believe, I'm kind of with that lady, Deion Sanders at this point in your stage in your life is not wisdom, okay? But yeah, I would say be a good friend, definitely. You can still be a friend and supportive. Okay? You can still be a good friend and supportive. Okay, now, the other day, we remember Lauryn Hill's daughter, who, remember, famously went viral for talking about how Lauryn and her father, you know, kind of like put her through watching them fight and everything. Sela went viral in 2020 for Instagram's live session where she vented to her followers, revealing that she was hurting due to life circumstances. Okay, she showed up. Okay, she was on Color Era Stories recently talking to them. So I'm gonna share this tab with y'all so you can hear. She seems like she's really grown a lot. Okay, so
relationship with your mom and maybe even the absence of your dad. I'd love to know, what was it like reconciling with the absence of your father?
So funny. I'm never gonna live that down. That's crazy. Yo, mom, I'm so sorry. But they're gonna hate me. They'll be like, ah. Even though I am who I am, I also have similar experiences as like the absent father or just like mother-daughter like issues. I think it got reconciled through my family, especially my mom, has always been very focused on healing. That's a really big thing. Like, she always understood that even if things were troubling in that moment, it wasn't gonna stay like that. It's always been a big thing for her. She was always like, it's not gonna stay like this, it's not gonna stay like this, it's not gonna stay like this, it's not gonna stay like this. Almost a mantra. She was just like, yo, it just can't stay like this. And so conversations that we had, growth that the entire family went through, like growth I've seen in myself, growth I've seen in my parents, growth I've seen just like in the freedom that they were able to achieve. Well, first of all, they were young parents, that's one, so young. And then two, being a parent is really hard. It's very hard, like having like 3 kids and being like, and maintaining your career and being 26. Mm-hmm. Having like 2 kids by the age of 23, and you're also like a fucking touring artist, like, you know, like, and you're like paying all these people's salaries, and like everyone's depending on you, and then you have to raise your kids, and then your relationship, is that still working, is it not working, what's going on here? As children, we feel like we're self-centered. Everything's about us. We're like, mom, dad, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be. And I think I just had to see the humanity in my parents. I had to reconcile, like, they are really human. And as much as I want them to be like these god-like figures, they're human. And I think every child, once you hit like 18 to 21 to 25, you start seeing the flaws of your parents. Well, sometimes you see it young too, but like you kind of start accepting that your parents are your parents. It's just one of those things where, on the one hand, the way I feel is totally valid, and the way I felt was valid. And we talked about it, you know. I mean, after that shit went so like public, I was like, all right, well, now I really have to heal this. So, you know, right. I was like, I can't just do this for show.
There were also some troubling times, you know, with your relationship with your mom.
Okay, so I love that she has become so mature about the situation, and I will say that is very true. That is one of the things that you learn in life about your parents, that your parents can only do what they know how to do. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother used to make sure I was never really angry with my mother. The only thing I've had different disappointments with my mother about are certain things like, you know, maturity, you know, different things. Okay, you know, we've had trouble with and getting along and stuff with that, but understanding who she was as a young girl, 17, not quite sure, you know, she had been with this dude, said he wanted a baby, she didn't want no baby, she really did get pregnant. And so she's like deciding whether should I abort my child, should I abort this kid or not. And then, you know, her parents had kicked her out. You know, she had to stay at my dad's parents' house and stuff like that. And my grandmother and them having a discussion. My grandmother and my grandfather having a discussion, who was also on the brink of their own marriage issues, said, you know what, we gotta raise this kid. We can't let her. She don't know what she's doing, right? And having my mother there, and really, you know, taking to have to give up your baby to your parents, that probably was not easy. So I always look at that and I say, shit, you know, she probably endured her own trauma, her own things. Now, I held her responsible to the now stuff. You know, I'd always be like, you responsible, and I'm responsible for the now in our relationship. But the past, I understand. And I understand those decisions and how those decisions were made. And that's a beautiful thing that she's saying, hey, you know, being a parent is hard, right? Well, you know, even with my grandparents now, certain things I disagree with. And we had a discussion one day, and my grandmother was shocked at an answer I gave her. And she said, the reason I did that was because I thought that was what was best for you. I didn't know that you didn't like that, you know. And I was like, no, I never like, you know, stuff like that. But my grandmother was trying to push a certain narrative. I understood. So as I'm older now, you know, reflecting back on life and everything like that. And I love what she said about kids being selfish, right? Because I have friends nowadays who are parents. And, you know, sometimes they often ask advice. It's so funny because I don't have children, but they'll ask advice, you know. But I'm a mother spirit, so you'd be wise to ask me some advice, right? So, you know, I'm a spiritual mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm spiritually, I have nurture. I'm a nurturer. I'm equipped, if I needed to be a mommy, to be a mama. So I have friends that sometimes ask me questions about their children and stuff like that. And I said to one of my friends, I said, well, that's a child. my friend was like, you know, she wanted to take her here. She wanted to do this. I'm not having time for my own life. I said, well, first of all, that you understand that when you bring a kid into your life, you do have a responsibility to do things with them. But also, that's a child. You have to, I talked about this a couple of days ago. A child is born to fit into you. When they're coming in, when they come into your life, they are fitting in. You're fitting them in. Yes, the child is your number one thing and everything like that. But you're also working as a family unit. There is no one above the other. And often, a lot of times, you'll have a lot of divorces happen, a lot of things happen because women and men have put children above themselves and other people, and it's really supposed to be teaching the child how to work within the network, and you letting a little kid run your whole household. You're like, no, hold up. You 5. Now you got to pick a couple of these things you want to do this week. Me and Daddy going on date night. You know, we got to find you a friend who can help take you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out ways to fit that the family unit works together. And I love that she recognized their part of not seeing it as young kids. Oh, we're sometimes kids, you know, we're self-centered. We don't get it. And so beautiful assessment from her. Beautiful. I see she has her mother's wisdom, even though I be talking shit about Lauren. And only it's all in love. It's all in love. It's tough love, but it's all in love. Okay, but it seems like she has a lot of her mother's wisdom and maturity. So I enjoyed listening to her, and I really hope she makes her way and finds her way in life because she's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl, and not only that, she's very smart and wise in what she's assessed from her family dynamic, and it not being easy. And having and listen, let me tell you this. That's why I'm telling you, people. It's a lot of people out here that people get scared of telling people you've made. A lot of times the sins of the father, when they say the sins of the father falls on the children, a lot of times it's because that, in like what she was saying, you know, they were, I don't even know, they wasn't even married. They weren't married really, was they? I don't think they was, but Lauren was coming out. I look at Lauren. Lauren was coming out of a relationship. Lauren wasn't the fuck sure where she was. She had just been brokenhearted, drugged the fuck around, Thinking, you know what I'm saying, with the whole, well, I don't even know. I wonder, that's why if I ever did an interview with Laura Hill, first thing I'd be like, have you healed? I mean, shit. I mean, you know what? Because you can be a powerful mouthpiece. Lauren is powerful, okay? I always say Lauren is a prophetess, in my opinion. She just does it on song. And now it's kind of confused because she's, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there, okay? I done talked about it on the show before, but meaning, have you healed? Like, a lot of us as humans, we just jumping in shit, we just getting in shit, and we go from one relationship to the next and this and that, and then we don't never want to admit about how 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 17 years from now, the decisions that we have made have affected our children, have affected how they live, the decisions they make. Lauren was fucked up back in those days. I mean, she had just got out of one, allegedly. I'm just saying allegedly. What it looked like, she had just got out of one relationship with Wycliffe, and she jumped right in with this boy Ronan. And then she started having babies with him, and now so that was, you know, how mind blowing for a little 25. She had just come off of winning, becoming a superstar at 23, 24, a superstar. She was gonna be the next Beyonce, and not having to do what Beyonce do. I mean, just a straight up wise source. Let me say this about Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill was the chick, and I believe it was deliberate for Lauren. They moved Lauren out of there, and Lauren didn't understand what was happening to her. Them was the spirits attacking her. I'll say that, because Lauren was the only woman that I have seen that's a singer and a hip hop artist that could carry. The kids was liking her. She was hip. She had Beyonce social cachet, and she was wise. She just wasn't got y'all at the thing dressing up. Telling me, this ain't Texas. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got y'all just dressing up playing. No, she delivered wisdom at her shows, delivered talks and different things like that. She was a voice piece. And she had the ability to grab entertainer, to use, like, where you weren't coming to her shows and thinking you just bored because it's Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? You just like listen to somebody that's just smart. This was a girl that was an entertainer too. So she has all that. And the attacks came with her love interest, her this and that. And usually that often happens with spiritual people. Okay, you know. Because spiritual people have a hard time finding love. Love is, I'm telling you, it's really for real. Spiritual people do. Spiritual people often are attacked in that area. So she is coming off of that relationship with a man she loved, and now she's in another relationship with a new man she loves, and possibly haven't healed really off from that man, and she starts having kids with this man. And all of whatever that trauma is that may not have been healed, and all those, and then she's also dealing with that career and what she's supposed to do, okay? And it gets literally attacked, in my personal opinion. And she just goes into the whole idea. She just starts having kids all over the place. Now, nothing wrong with having babies. Babies are a blessing, but babies out of time, it could be a lot. Okay, so, you know, Lauryn Hill, what we see from Lauryn Hill is that's the result. She said what the things they had to see. And so I say that today to you guys is that every time, this is why I say I always try to do the work, because your decisions in your life, whatever decisions that you make, they are going to resonate if you have children, or just if you have spiritual children, or whatever you're supposed to do in this life, whoever you're supposed to reach in this life, or whoever you're supposed to go after, that will resonate on your future. You can't, that's why everything has to be looked at and weighed. You can't get everything, but you can try to get a lot of things. a lot of parents go into these. They don't have wisdom about, and the sins visit their children because they didn't think when they were scared. Lauren was like trying to deal with her pain of what, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying what I observed. Maybe she was trying to deal with that pain from Wycliffe. He didn't leave that wife. He blah, 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 blah. So she had to run over there. She gets with this other dude trying to absolve herself of that pain. And she has 5 or 6 babies, and the kids are witnessing, like the little girl says she witnessed them arguing all the time, fighting and everything, because the sins of the mother, the sins of the father are visiting the children. Because you guys got together on some bum shit, probably. I'm not saying they did, it's probably good years, you know what I'm saying? But it might be, but I'm just saying it's for people in general, just to be able, just to always have wisdom about how you handle your relationships and how you handle, because they're going to have consequences. So, and it's really good that she has an understanding of what her mom and her dad were, and that they're human, and that she is now, she's coming to a sense of healing. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. Let me see what y'all next story. Oh, did we have another story, y'all? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let me see here. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, and I will be back in a second, and we'll do the last few stories of the day. Let me see. You got to be wise, okay? And I just don't believe, I'm kind of with that lady. Oh, God, I'm letting y'all hear y'all hearing double audio. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute. Hold on, you guys. I got to get your... All right. Be back in a second. All right, you guys, we are back on the Carlotta Chadwell Show. Okay, so what did I want to listen? I wanted you guys to hear the last couple of stories. Hold on, y'all. I try to get my stuff together here. All right, okay. So Beyonce has come out and talked about the needs of her. She's talked about her children and what's going on. I think this is from. Look at this. Here we go. Which I'm glad she's done that. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Okay. It says, let's see here. Okay, this is, that's the wrong article. Let me get the article. Okay, this is from HelloMagazine.com. It says, Beyonce talks unique needs of twins Rumi and Sir and daughter Blue Ivy in rare chat about motherhood. The award-winning singer shares three children with Jay-Z. Beyonce recently gave a rare interview about her career and personal life, disclosing many details about her notoriously private family in the process. I do not believe Beyonce. I don't consider them private. I really don't. I know people, just because she doesn't talk doesn't mean they're private. There's often leaks around Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay. The Texas Hold'em hitmaker shares 12-year-old daughter Blue Ivy and 7-year-old twins Rumi and Sir with husband Jay-Z. And despite being one of the most famous power couples of modern times, they've managed to maintain a lot of privacy and normality behind closed doors. I don't believe that either. The award-winning singer spoke about parenting 3 children and gave insight into their personalities while chatting to GQ magazine earlier this month. She told the publication, raising 3 kids isn't easy. The older they get, the more they become their own individuals with unique needs, hobbies, and social lives. My twins are God said. Parenting constantly teaches you about yourself. It takes a lot of prayer and patience. I love it. It's grounding and fulfilling. Okay, did she really discuss, like, if there's something? Y'all tried to make that sound like y'all was saying saying they's on the spec, she ain't really did that yet. But the star also added she tends to book tours around school holidays to ensure that her children can come with her on the road. And Blue, Rumi, and Sir are constantly taking part in her dance rehearsals. My kids come with me everywhere I go. They come to my office after school and they are in the studio with me. They are in dance rehearsals. It's natural they would learn my choreography, she said. Beyonce and Jay-Z live in Mega Mansion in Malibu worth a staggering $200 million. The property overlooks the Pacific Ocean, and is thought to be where the family spends most of the time. Then they talk about their properties. Despite having privileged lifestyles, thanks to their joint success in music and entertainment industry, Beyonce and Jay-Z are incredibly down to earth and like to give back. Okay, here we go. We're going into something else, okay? The star was taken to visit homeless people by her dad, Matthew, aged just 7, along with her sister Solange, ahead of a performance at the Grammy Awards, where she was due to sing Imagine by John Lennon. Her dad wanted her to fully understand the lyrics of the song, and upon meeting the homeless man, these are the stories people be telling that I have to laugh. An image shared by this. Okay, so listen. Okay, this is about Beyonce visiting underprivileged community when she was 10. I ain't got time for all that. Okay, but she talks about parenting. Beyonce gave a little interview about her life and her little parenting and everything like that. Beyonce, again, quit being ethereal. You're gonna have to be real. Shit. And Beyonce, you just need to give a good interview where you're real, like with somebody who you really, maybe Gail or somebody. Since they always at your show, like give a real ass fucking interview. Like don't be guarded. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to be like, but she asked you about, you had infidelity in your marriage. You're like, yes. Like you say, girl, that shit, I was tired. Like you say, you just be real. I think you need to come there. I really do. That's my personal opinion. Sometimes you gotta show people who you are. You know what I'm saying? You really gotta really show people like that thing. Like this shit ain't easy. Y'all be having it and stuff, but I've had shit. I be up in here tripping. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that brings so much humanity to you. And it gives you also so much sometimes, yes, it gives people more fuel to throw darts at you, but it also sometimes gives people it helps people to have more empathy and create more empathetic and sympathetic energy towards you. Okay, and to tell it from the standpoint, not trying to be normal, but tell it from the standpoint of a celebrity and a celebrity lifestyle. Because often people, it's a lot of celebrities and publicists do this with they bullshit. Publicists try to often tell people appear regular, normal, is popular, and sometimes yes, that's true. But for the most part, when you finally give that real down the ass, down the earth interview about your life and yourself and everything like that, you have to say, this is not normal how I'm living. You know what I'm saying? And thanks to y'all, I live a beautiful life, but it can be some abnormal things going on in it. And not just fans. Don't make fans just abnormal. The business, how that being famous affects relationships, love life, everything that's available to you. You need to be able to talk about all that. Let me tell you, you give a good interview like that, girl, you'll change the perspective of you, I think. And maybe possibly help y'all hang on for a little bit, because they coming after y'all. I know that. They've been trying to come for y'all. But I think it has to be a real perspective. It can't be one of these interviews where you're talking about when I was 10, my daddy took me before I was about to sing Imagine. And he told me, you need to see what meet this homeless man so you can feel how he feels so you can sing the song Imagine. Now the people say, imagine about homelessness. No, it's not, right? You can't do this, Beyonce. Tina added of Beyonce. Oh, Miss Tina in the interview. Look at Miss Tina's ass. the publicist. It was such a great lesson early on in humanity. It sticks with her today. She has helped to build homeless shelters, contributed to so many disasters, and released it. Nope. This is not the interview we need, okay? So. Okay, a lot of celebrities have. You gotta be real. Hey, Miss Tina out there is helping these lads trying to show the crowd real quick. Miss Tina, I already spoke on that, okay? Giving Groupon tickets, yeah, everybody gonna be full up in here. Shit. If I knew I could have got some tickets cheap, I probably would have went. But I decided not to because I want to do something else. But, I thought about it and I was like, damn, that's the same shit. I just saw that shit, though. Okay? So, yeah. Interesting. All right. And other things in Beyonce news that y'all talking about. So this is the Beyonce little segment. I'm like Carlotta. Okay, hold on. Why y'all talking about child protective services might come from Beyonce? It said, this is from Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Looks like Beyonce messed up again. Listen to Gary T in the audio player to hear what happened to Blue Ivy and Gary with the T thinking child protective services will be knocking at B's door. Okay, because people said she put her out there after Destiny's Child and she looked real nervous and stuff like that, allegedly. So they said that's what Gary with the T was talking about. You know what I'm saying. Y'all they don't have the child protection service on Beyonce's ass, okay? That's what they do, all right? Okay, so Beyonce and Jay-Z leveraged luxury with staggering mortgage on their $88 million Bel Air mansion, reports claim. Power couple Beyonce and Jay-Z have allegedly taken out yet another mortgage on their $88 million Bel Air mansion, according to reports. The 43-year-old Crazy in Love singer and the rapper 55, who have combined net worth of $3.28 billion, according to Forbes. Forbes, I hate to say it. Forbes is not always real, okay? Forbes is trying to estimate. They're guesstimating, okay? That's why these people are taking mortgages out in their house. They ain't got as much money as Ford is guesstimating, okay? Reportedly, they took out a $57.5 million mortgage on the sprawling dual dwelling, which they picked up in 2017, has first reported by the Daily Mail. The outlet claimed the Hollywood's favorite lovebirds took out a 30-year loan from the Morgan Stanley's private banking division in April. It reportedly comes with 5% interest rate for the first 10 years. When the couple purchased the Los Angeles area above, they borrowed $52.8 million and then refinanced with Goldman Sachs for the same amount. According to the Daily Mail, the couple are taking a large hit from the extensive taxes on the property, in addition to 111 million they have borrowed. Why are they borrowing that much? Okay, so remember, that is an asset for them. They may not have a lot of money in liquid money. They have a high lifestyle. Even though they're bragging about how much that tour made, was it supposedly, they went around to several arenas, was it supposed to make more? Okay, and we don't know how those numbers really are. I'm just telling you how these papers and stuff work. They're meant to get y'all excited and and bragging about that, but it may not be what it is. Okay. This year, A-listers are currently spending $637,244 per month on taxes and mortgages for the above. See this? That's high. They're paying $600,000 a month, baby. A month. The couple's 18,778 square foot home was designed by architect Paul McLean, and the ultra modern compound comprised 6 sprawling structures. So yeah, listen, and they got, like they said, it's equipped with bulletproof windows, offering the stars peak privacy. Furthermore, the couple installed additional security features as well as living quarters for security staff. The high-profile couple boasts an impressive property portfolio, including their spectacular 190 million 7-bedroom Malibu estate. So listen, I'm telling you, a lot of times these celebrities are building private prisons for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because as more famous you get, the more craziness is surrounding you and everything. So it really is, listen, fame is not, I'll say this. Fame is not for you to just have, because it's a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard calling to have. And if you get into fame with just wanting to fucking just go around and be glamorous and stuff like that, well, your labor is in vain. As if you got to be building 18,000 square foot mansion with bulletproof windows and have your security living on the fucking property with you, everything. That's a high price to pay. To not have something deep to say to the world. To not have something specific, not just your talent. Your talent ain't shit. Everybody got a talent, okay? Gifts come and go. In a few years, they'll have the next Beyonce, okay? Because they realize you're getting older, so they're looking for the next one, okay? That isn't the story that your gift is the thing that gets you in the room. It gets you in the places. But what is it that God calls you? This one is, a lot of these entertainers don't have no clue. They just out here trying to show you we the glamorous life. We got the glamorous life, you know what I'm saying? But they don't have nothing else. What is it that you came to say with all that? That's why they taking out mortgages and mortgages and mortgages and mortgages, because wealth can go in a day, baby. A day. So what deeper have you come to say with your life? That's what's important, okay? And I ain't trying to hate on y'all faves either, okay? All right, so my fave did an interview. Did he do an interview? He did. With Billboard magazine. Did he do it? He did. Okay, so let's see. He's answering some questions. Remember I said, should we ditch night? Like I'm on his staff. Should we ditch night? Ditch night. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay, yes. So Billboard did an interview with Maxwell. What's this? Is that a new one? That's not the new one. Is that okay, like a week ago. Okay, this is for Maxwell Serenade. Said Maxwell set sail for upcoming Silent Serenade residency, Third Ocean Cruise. I'm not done yet, okay? It says, after nearly 30-year career studied with milestone achievements, game-changing pioneer of the 90s neo-soul movement, a string of gold and platinum albums and singles, Pretty Wings, Lifetime, and Simply Beautiful, plus 3 Grammys, among other accolades. What's next? If you're Maxwell, you announce the itinerary and the performer lineup for your 3rd annual Urban Hang Suite cruise. But in advance of that, you amp up your intimacy quoting. Okay. That's my thing. Okay. With a new residency, the Silent Serenade Ensemble. Inspired by Maxwell's Serenade 2024 tour, the Silent Serenade Ensemble is a limited 4-night run of residencies at the MGM National Harbor in Washington, D.C., September 18th, 19th, and 20th, and the historic King's Theater in the singer-songwriter producer's hometown of Brooklyn, New York, September 28th. Still continuing its run in 2025. Maxwell's aforementioned The Serenade Tour wraps in October, featuring rotating support on various dates from special guests, Lucky Day, Marsha Ambrosius, Leela James, and Kim. Okay, the ensemble can be anything we want, explains Maxwell the concept. Behind the upcoming Silent Serenade performances, it can be a choir that sings in doo-wop. Okay, it can be all strings, including harps. It can be reeds. Okay, it can be all kinds of versions and combinations of instruments that you've never seen put together before to present and perform songs that people know already in deeper cuts. Maxwell fans will recall that this isn't the first time the artist rendered unique reinterpretations of his music. Okay, we know this from when he did the orchestra stuff like that, the symphonies. I'm gonna skip that. Opening the Silent Serenade dates will be singer-songwriter Yola, of whom Maxwell notes, I saw her during the pandemic on either Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert, and she was singing country rock record. I just love what she represents, her blackness, her broadness, her scope, her limitless sense of things. Maxwell will then usher in 2026 by joining up again with Lucky Day and Kim, along with the Isley Brothers. Yeah, that's for his Urban Hang Suite cruise, February 7th through 12th. And it says, it's been 8 years. They asked him, it's been 8 years since your last album, 2016's Black Summer's Night. When is the trilogy final chapter coming? I'm going to be 100 with you. When you say I'm going to be 100 with you, are you going to be 100 with us? Okay, because sometimes people need to know the humanity you represent, and not just the music and not just the presentation. I have been dealing with a nerve condition. Oh, okay. I talked to so many other singers and performers who, over the course of their careers, have experienced this. So I had to take time, sit back and chill so I could deal with it and heal. It was stressful as I performed on tour, recorded Simply Beautiful, and did NPR's Tiny Desk. I couldn't really seem to get ahead of it. I'd be on stage in absolute agony, but I knew I had to do the shows because there was an incentive not to cancel, given the people and business working with me behind the scenes. If I hadn't been going through all that, the final album would have been out. Maxwell, okay, I'm going to say something in a minute, but I also needed to be sure that I could get behind promoting the celebrating it in front of people. So until I was sure, I didn't want to release the album because of a financial or deadline reason. People don't realize that when you're making music, it's about feeling. I can hear him saying this. If you're not feeling well, the music isn't going to do well either. I love the craft way too much to make it a 9-to-5 duty and not a pleasure. Well, it's kind of a 9-to-5 because you're in show business. But that's another thing. I know the music has been written from a place of great vibes and attention. Okay, let me stop on that part. Okay, I gotta say it. Okay, Maxwell. I'm sad to hear about your nerve problem, and I pray you get better. Praying for your healing. You doing well. But I will have to ask you, you have been on a rigorous tour for the last 2-3 years. It seems like it's easier to go in the studio, make night real quick, and then promote the album while you're out here on this rigorous tour that's putting you in agony. And I'm not trying to be, no, that's what we say. I'm not trying to be disrespectful though. You know what I'm saying? But does it make, I'm just wondering, is that what happened with the other 7 years? Has this been going on for 7 years? I believe the nerves. I do believe that story. I do believe you've been going through some shit. I can look at you because you're so handsome, but you're still, I see you've gotten a lot. I see you just now picking back up your weight, right? So I can tell you've been into, some things have been happening with you. But, I mean, I mean, if you could be out here on that rigorous tour, you could go in and put the final touches on night and then be out here promoting it with the tour. Just asking questions from a challenging you spot and your crew. I'm just, hey, I'm sorry if I said anything wrong. I'm just wondering. I mean, it seems like the tour would have been like harder. And then just go in and do the record and go to a couple of promotion spots, like the radio. You saying, I think what's just what you're saying. Okay, I'm going to play. I'm not going to be devil's advocate because I'm being devil's advocate there. Okay, let me get on your side. I think what you're saying is that while I'm touring, I want my audience to see me and connect with me. But at the same time, it's hard for me to do the radio stations, the newspaper promotions, the television promotions, everything it takes to get this record out, right? Gotcha. That's what I'm going to say. That's where we'll come to a healthy medium. Healthy agreement, understanding. Okay, so maybe that's what's going on, okay? It says, what else can fans expect at your silent serenade shows? I'm more excited about what I'm trying to accomplish than what I know I've done already. He is such a fucking shit. That's Aquarius shit right there. Aquarius motherfucker. He's Aquarius moon. He's acting like a fucking Aquarius moon. This interview might be the Aquarius moon being interviewed. Okay, so it says, hopefully these shows will catch fire and people in different places will want to see this. Essentially, I want to present the evolution of Black music as it's represented through all the different genres that we've actually created in America. You mean Black America's actually created? But I digress. Okay. I know you feel part of the family. I mean, listen, no, I always notice these things, okay? But let me finish, okay? It says, American blues, gospel, R&B, soul, rock and roll, and jazz. I want people to understand the power of our culture. Huh? Specifically to give people an experience that they've never had before that will hopefully bring them to a space of emotion and feeling at the time when it's being normalized to not show anything. It's become all about texting and emojis, but we really aren't connecting with each other, says the man with the thing in his ear. I don't think people are really listen to music in a way that they used to. So I want to do something that allows them to be transported into Black music. It compromises pretty much at least 70% of all music that you hear in the world. Reggaeton is a form of hip hop. Rock and roll was invented by Little Richard. And country music is Black music too. I want to represent, show, celebrate, and solidify who we are. This is interesting. So there will be some B-sides that people have heard, and maybe part 1 and part 2 of Till the Cops Come Knocking, which I haven't performed since my beginning days. Okay, that's cool. I might come to just see that. But listen, shit, I was going to do the Vegas show. You got me up here. I ain't spending no more money on that. There will also be other surprises and covers that you wouldn't expect. Okay, so let me just say this, okay, Max? Let me say this. And I'm being all sincere when I say this, okay? And I'm not trying to make you feel like an outsider. If Maxwell happened to hear this one day, or somebody know Maxwell happened to hear this, I'm not trying to make him feel like an outsider or nothing. But rock and roll is a part of the Black American, and I just had a discussion with a Maxwell fan the other day about this, okay? She was really challenging me on this, but I said, Maxwell is not Black American. That is not his culture. Now, if Maxwell would have said in this, he's Black Haitian American, Black Haitian and Puerto Rican American, but he is not traditional Black American. And had you said in this article, I want people to see the culture that I've come to love so much, Black America, and the culture that's adopted me and their music and everything, that's recognizing we have a culture. What kind of disturbs me about you, Maxwell, is that it doesn't seem like you like to acknowledge us as a culture. Like Black America, and I might be completely wrong on this, but I'd be like, damn, like that. Like, it's like if I went and said, went to Haiti and said, you know, I want people to see who we are as, you know, a people when we did the first Black Republic. They like, are you Haitian? You know what I'm saying? Or I start speaking from perspective of Haiti. That is one of my favorite historical stories, favorite histories in all of in history. I love the story of Haiti. I feel like the Haitian people are such a beautiful people who have been punished for them being the first Black Republic. And they haven't been allowed to raise up, and they've also inflicted self-punishment, right? So, and I respect them, but never would I try to be a part, like, I wouldn't try to, I got love. They other Black people in the diaspora, I'm like, dang, I got love for them. But never am I trying to be you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect you. And hey, if I came over there and I was a person in the culture and loving the Haitian way of life and all that stuff, I still would never be a person. I say this is a family that has adopted me, and I love them as a people. But I understand I'm traditional Black American. But for some reason, and he's not the only one, a lot of celebrities who are not Black traditional American do not like to acknowledge that we have our own culture. We the culture. We are the culture. The Hollywood sold that culture. We are the culture. My great grandparents and great grandmas and all of us in these southern trying to survive under the harshness, our families, our ancestors of slavery in America, chattel slavery in America, created those sounds, those genres, trying to survive under Jim Crow, segregation and discrimination in the North. I love that you like the culture and you love and admire the culture, but also it's kind of messed up that you don't acknowledge that we're not just one big house. We not know, like, how can I say it? Although we're all from different parts of the country. We have a mixture of Black America, from French to Native American to European. But we all, as Black people, share the Black American experience of chattel slavery and our families being under that. And no matter where you travel to, there is a commonality with us. And you being first generation Haitian and what is it? A Puerto Rican. Yes, you might have connected with us, loved. That's a beautiful thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But this is not your culture. No offense. Now, with your adopted culture, we love you. Black people love you. Black Americans love your ass, okay? Have supported your career, love the shit out of you, okay? But it to me, it's respectful to do so. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just respectful to say, hey, like Tariq Nasheed, shout out to Tariq. When Tariq made the whole thing about Haiti, when he told the story of Haiti in his video, Tariq is not Haitian. But Tariq went to Haitian people, different Haitian people, some American historians and everything, to tell the story of Haiti. He wasn't disrespectful to the Haitian people. He knows he's Black of FBA or Black American or ADOS. So he isn't going there speak. He's become a historian over the years because of the videos and stuff he made. But he ain't going over there saying, you know, we did this. He's saying as a Black collective, yes, you know, this is a thing. But this is Haiti's. I'm giving this thing to Haiti because I just admire that culture and admire what these people have done in their history. Well, I can't say that. But I just noticed that, okay? My Achilles heel. Okay. Let me see. And he says, and it's different because they can switch in and out. Like he can have a Haitian flag up on his thing right now. He be wrapping up in the Haitian flag, then be talking about my culture. I'm like, what? What? And I understand that for first generation Haitians and stuff like that because Black American culture dominates. It's 50 million of us. So it dominates whatever Black culture is in America, right? Because we've been here for almost 600 years. So we can't, and what America allows access to other groups who have seen us, heard us on radio, heard us on TV, all these things, and think that that's your culture. It's not. But it's I love that everybody celebrates us. We as Black people, we love that, but that came from a deep, straight up place. And I feel like when people say things like that, they haven't really understood what the Black Americans went through in America. You really haven't gotten it. You really haven't understood what the cost was. What the cost was to produce a Diana Ross. What the cost was to produce a Berry Gordy. What the cost was to produce a Tyler Perry. What the cost was, no matter even if they don't think it, if they don't know it or understand it, okay? Because the stories Tyler Perry tells are stories of people's grandmas and great grandmas and stuff in the South and how they rode and acted and stuff. He done put them all in Medea. You really had grandmas that carried guns, even though Medea is a caricature of all of that. Those are stories. Or Diana Ross coming out the projects of Detroit. Berry Gordy, American businessman in a time when the world was segregated and trying to bring Black American music to the forefront. And be an executive at the same time. There was a cost to that shit. And a people who got at that. There was a cost to a Dr. King. There was a cost to a Malcolm X whose mother was a different, his mother was, I forget what his mother was, but Malcolm rooted himself in Black Americanism. But there was a cost to produce Malcolm. There was a cost to produce Martin. And they weren't just produced by themselves, they were produced by their ancestors behind them. So when people choose to ignore that, I got a problem with it. And I love my favorites. Y'all know how I feel. I love me some. I love me some Maxwell, but I will challenge because I feel like yo, is that your answer? And the person the other day was saying, I understand what you said. First, she wasn't understanding me. Then she said, oh, I kind of get it now. I was like, yeah, because it kind of brings about an erasure of us. You're acting like we're one big hodgepodge, but you don't act like that about Haiti. You don't act like that about Jamaica. You don't act like that about Africa. Okay. We got our own culture too. Okay, so it says, what do you think your cruise has become so popular for the first few years? He said, I can't take full credit for the people who curate it. They don't tell me until it's done because I have anxiety. Okay. However, they know who I love. Oh, they do. Okay, I'm just happy that I get to be a part of. I wouldn't say resurrection, but I would definitely say it's putting people in front of people type of moment again. It's in the spirit of what I mentioned before, the Silent Serenade, celebrating music history I know through the people I love in music and through the genres that I know we've touched and created. That's what I'm focusing my actions on for all people who just love music. So what is on your to-do list? It's actually coming true, but I can tell you that what it is, but I can't tell you what it is yet. But when it happens and everything comes together, including the album, it's going to be like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. That's all I've got to say, other than I'm not done yet. You ain't seen the last of me. Okay. Listen, the article was interesting. as far as I found it interesting that he says he isn't the one who he doesn't know who they're going to pick until they until they till the people curate it and they just know what he loves. Funny. Celebrities. Okay, let me just say this, Maxwell. Okay, I gotta say, because I've heard the criticism of the cruise, which I'm trying to decide if I'm going on. I just got offered to with a person to share roommate with a person. Like I was like, oh man, shit, I may take that. A friend, so you know, a Maxwell fellow friend that's on the cruise, and I said, shit, I might take that, so I have to pay nobody's way, shit. Right? Yeah. So I have heard about this cruise, Maxwell. I'm gonna sell the good and the bad. First of all, I heard that artists are excellent. Okay, people say it is a groove, it is a vibe. It is, and it's got a certain feel, unlike Tom Joyner and all those and stuff like that. It kind of feels a little bit more classy. Although I've heard several women say they wish that, because women go on there like it's, there's a lot of single women that go on your cruise, Maxwell. So be careful of selling it like a couples cruise, because you might want to sell it as a little bit. You can have it as a couples cruise, but maybe people coming to, maybe also find, like I saw him say something about finding a date the other day or something like that. So that's good, because there's a lot of single women that go on there because of you. You're a heartthrob. So women think you're fine, even at 52. Pop. so you know what I'm saying? Women think he's a fine pop, right? So, yeah. But one of the criticism I've heard is Maxwell does not seem like it, he just performs. He doesn't feel a part of the cruise. I've heard this several times. Maxwell, don't get mad at Maxwell's people. Please do not get mad at me if you're listening. This is only to help if this is true, okay? This is some of the criticism that I have heard, okay? That so with you answering this about when you're saying you don't curate it, they just know who you love. Okay, well, people are picking up that you just perform on the cruise, and is it your cruise? You know what I'm saying? Listen, Maxwell, I will say this, okay? I always tell people, some most celebrities do this stuff. They with their charities and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? When you put your name to something, I understand you're super busy, okay? But when you put your name to a project, when you put your name to anything, make sure that you are the host. Man, it's like going to somebody's fucking house and motherfuckers don't be around. Like, you be like, they invite you to the party, you ain't seen the motherfucker the whole party. You're like, girl, I done came here from my cousin. Where the fuck she at? I ain't seen her the whole fucking party. You get invited to dinner at somebody's house. It's like, girl, come on by for dinner. And you all see that motherfucker? Max, you can't do that, okay? Let me just tell you, when you do these type of things, if you and your people, can I say this to y'all? Because people have said, I've heard people say it, that several people I've heard this from, because I asked people about how they felt about the cruise that I know that went on it. And this is several people's criticism that you give great performances on it, but it doesn't seem like your cruise. Okay? You are the host. Okay? That doesn't mean that motherfuckers got to see you walking around the boat. I mean, that'd be nice or something like that every now and then. I ain't saying that. I'm saying that when the shows, you need to pick certain shows. That's just my personal opinion. I'm just telling y'all what I heard, okay? So it can help you. If you want to take my advice, you can. If you don't, shit, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But when you have certain shows on that cruise, you should be introducing the artists. You should be coming out when you can still have your host, but you need to come out and tell why you like them. Hey, you guys, the Isley Brothers. This is one of my favorite bands, blah, blah, blah. So that people can say, oh, wow, here's Max again. Or you need to come out when you're introducing, who's on there? Ellie Warner or somebody like that. Oh, this is blah, 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 and blah. We need to see why you like it, because you are the host that have invited us in your house. This is your house. This is a party with Maxwell. This is Urban Hang Suite Cruise. It's named after your album. And I know you was hitting on the album. You ain't supposed to be hitting on your party, at your party. You a host. You host it. It has to have your vibe all the way through it. Even if you do a fun little thing, like you should do fun interviews during that. Let me tell you, I'm trying to help you. Like on a boat when they cruising or something like that, if people got time, if somebody's on that boat, do an interview with yourself. You have somebody do an interview with you. People can ask, maybe a couple people can ask you questions in the audience, have fun with it or something like that. But you gotta give people an opportunity to see your funky ass, okay? And it can't just be performance. This is your party. Okay, and I'm telling you what I've heard the criticism. I heard it's a vibe, but you just ain't a part of the vibe. That's what I heard. That's what I heard on these streets. You come and you give a great, you give great 2 concerts, but then you gone. They don't see your ass no more. And that you be, and when the private, wherever the private, they go to the beaches and stuff, but he be in the VIP. So he don't even wave at y'all down on the next level. Baby telling me some shit. People be talking. Okay, I talk to people. I'm telling you what people out here saying in these streets. Okay, listen, bro. That's your cruise. Okay, make it your party. Make it your party. Make one thing, make it adventurous for people. People love to have stories. Like when I used to hear people coming from Tom Joyner the cruise, shit. People used to love that shit. They'd be like, girl, I took a picture with Tom Joyner. Girl, guess what I saw? We saw Tom Joyner. He was then coming down on the deck. Or we saw Sybil. Or we saw, you know, even if it was sporadic. Little sporadic moments or something. But they felt their presence on the cruise. This your motherfucking party. Okay, don't be trying to, and then let me tell y'all, if y'all I love the fact that you advertising now. Shit, this is good. Advertising the cruise more. I'll tell you what I do. I go on live with some of my favorite, the artists that's gonna be on there, and talk to them about the cruise and try to get people hyped. What? Do you need me? Y'all need to hire me. Shit. I know it's been selling out for you, but I'm just trying to tell you, like, I done sold out the last 2 cruises. I know, but I'm just telling you what people were saying on the low. I'm y'all just what I ask questions. I'm like, I be asking questions on these streets before I put my money in. So I ask a bunch of questions. I'm like, girl, how's the tour? Hey, such and such, how was the tour? You went on, how was the cruise? You went on the cruise the other year. Yeah, it was good. You see, well, girl, but except, you know what? We didn't see a lot of Maxwell. Maxwell wasn't really around that much. I mean, we just saw him perform. I heard that constantly, like it was just felt like a cruise that you was performing on. Okay, this supposed to be your motherfucking cruise. You should be the host. You should be out when motherfuckers, the first time the deck opens up, whenever that first invitation, you should be the one welcoming all the motherfuckers on the cruise. Okay, when they had that first, it shouldn't be, the host should introduce you and you should come down and say, y'all welcome to the cruise. I see y'all tonight or whatever the fuck. They said you wasn't welcoming shit. Okay, so I'm just telling you that you cannot do that. If you're gonna be a host, that's being a good ass host. And I say this with all due respect. No, I do. I say it with all due respect. I be trying to help people out these streets, okay? Listen. My shit be working too. Ass essence, but that's a whole different story. Okay? I'm just telling you. Okay? I'm just telling you what I done heard. That's what the rumors is. Okay? And I will say this, I done had more than 10 people tell me that. I said more than 10. It's a groove. That's what it is. The Maxwell Cruise is a groove. It's a great party. I heard it's a bougie kind of boat party. A lot of some couples. I thought it was gonna be the Cinderella ball, but it's hard for it to be the Cinderella ball because you gotta have like it's 4,000 for an individual person. That's like you gotta have some. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all motherfuckers got corner and afterpay, but y'all like shit. So you gotta have a partner to go up in there and be Cinderella. And then when you find out, you know, the motherfucking prince ain't even walking around the fucking boat he ain't even walking around the fucking ball. He up in the VIP. You can't show off your glass clipper. So the girls is like, I don't know, should I pay? Should we be paying for this shit? They come in there, Maxwell. They come in there with it's a ball. It's the Cinderella. You gotta play on the Cinderella ball part, man. You know you cute. Play on it, dude. Be out there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Come on the true cruise. You know, if you looking for love, you say I'm looking for love too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get them hype. Bitch, Maxwell say he's looking for love. Girl, I'm good. Unless you back to giving, you know, unless you back to giving away necklaces and stuff like that. I don't know. Ain't my business. But I'm just saying, okay? But hey, that's how you do it. Get them girls up on there. Get them girls on that cruise, fool. Do it live. Yeah, we looking for not just the couples. We celebrating, you know, a singleness and loving ourselves. And plus, you know, I'm out here looking for love. You know myself, I'm a single man. Shit, them bitches, let me tell you something, Maxwell. They be gathering that little money too. Put their little coins together. You gotta know how to do it, baby. And do it up. Oh my God, dude, it was an interesting article. But that's just my little advice for the little article. Okay, read the article. It was interesting, very interesting. Night is coming. Shit, who knows? That's what got to get, you know, well wishes. Get well. That's all I'll say. And no, I'm for real. I'm not being mean. Okay, people be thinking I'm being mean. Listen, let me tell you something. I am not being mean. Some Maxwell fans like, you don't hurt his feelings. You're being mean. I'm like, Maxwell don't listen to this shit, but if he do, whatever. I'm like, but a lot of the fans, some of them be like, listen, I'm funny. I joke all the fucking time. Okay? But I also say what I think. All right? And you know what I'm saying? This is my show. I just have little opinions. Okay, and I'm just telling what I heard from 10 people, more than 10 actually, that said this about this cruise. Said the cruise is a vibe. It is fun. It is nice, kind of pricey. Also, that Maxwell, his name is on it, but his vibe ain't in it. Like your name is on it, but they don't see your presence a lot. You are the host of that cruise. It should be an energy pulsating around there. See, that's work, motherfuckers. That's work. That's work. That's work, Maxwell. That's a job. That cruise is a job. So you know you got 4 days of fucking work. You got to make it sporadic so people can see you. Different places around the boat. Oh, I got to do a boat round about 2:00 today. So I'm gonna walk around the south end of the boat so people can see me. I got to come out and welcome them into the boat when they first get on and everything. Welcome everybody. I got to come to the welcoming party. I can't be at the VIP lounge chilling. You know, I got to come down there and welcome. That's my job, so everybody can see me. Yes, I got a host, but the host introduced me so I can welcome them to my party. This is my party. I got to make sure everybody know I'm here. When they out on the, like, we go on the beach, I got to show people maybe a little bit that I'm on the beach. Let me go over there and creep over and look and see what y'all doing. And then creep back to the VIP. He's so bougie. I think he's so bougie. He been at Soho too long. What's that Soho? What they do in New York? Where they go? What's that little club? Soho. He's Soho bougie. Soho bougie. They don't know how to do. He know how to be with the regulars. He's so bougie. He's so cute and bougie. I think that's the secret. He's bougie. He like the glamorous life. Little regular tones. Me outside the VIP? What, you want me to go look over there? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Go outside the VIP. What? I'm supposed to do this? Yes. I need to be can I be the assistant for a day? Get your ass down there at the welcoming thing. I be having this ass everywhere. You need to be down at such and such. They having a party. You need to introduce that. Oh, you got an interview on the boat. It's a Maxwell interview. Okay, everybody needs to be there. People gonna come in to see it. And one of the, I guess like you should have theaters and stuff on the boat. Do an interview with, and people can see it live and ask questions. You know, you gotta make it feel like you. Funny shit. That's funny when I heard that. I was laughing my ass off. Okay. Oh my God. People, you know, y'all can't do the bare minimum. Fans are investing in, let me just say this. People invest their hard earned money. That's expensive in this time of tariffs and all these trade wars that are going on, and people are barely trying to scratch ends meet, and people take a $4,000 investment or a $6,000 investment and try to put it into your cruise to come hang out and party with you. And they didn't pick just a cruise just for the people that's on it, because you can get people, a lot of people are having cruises and festivals and stuff like that now, but they picked it because of you and who they trust you to be. And who they like, yo, that's Maxwell having a cruise. Hey, yo, I'm going to the cruise, you know, Urban Hang Suite cruise or whatever. That's your brand on it. And I always say this to people. When you connect to what you're doing, and this is for me too, I say this to myself, because I be like not connecting to shit. I be like wanting to do bare minimum and shit like that. And it's never good. When you connect to what you do, put your actual self into it, lots of great things come from that. But eventually, if you're not connecting to it, you're just putting your name on some shit. Like, nope. I don't never put my name just to no shit. I gotta be involved. I gotta be looking at it. What the fuck's going on? Like, who the fuck you got up? You bringing on this show? Who's that? I ain't never heard of him. I need to know. Because that's my brand. That's my name. I ain't just giving it up to any fucking body. And not only that, but I need people to know that my vibe and my presence is here. I put my name to this thing. I need to make sure, because people that's a lot of money. And so it's a lot of money to go on there and just see you fucking do a concert. We can do that for $300, okay? Shit, fuck that. Ain't nobody spending $4,000 just see you do a concert. People pay $4,000 because they expect you to be a part of this thing you're calling your cruise, the Urban Hang Suite cruise, that has your album's name to it and your name to it, your brand. Don't never let nobody put your name on no brand. I'm telling, this is for y'all out here. Don't never let nobody put y'all name on shit and you ain't involved. My name. That's what happened. Remember Houston? How the Houston, you ever hear the story of Houston? Oh my God. When I was a little, Houston used to be like hotty toddy, honey. You couldn't touch Houston. Houston was like big money, big bucks, baby, okay? The brand was all that. And then some, the House of Houston, okay? But Houston had wasn't really good with managing his brand and everything. And after a while, he sold his name and his brand to a company, and they cheapened up his shit. They start putting his name on luggage. They start putting his name on perfume, chicken fingers, chicken littles, chitlins, everything. I'm just kidding. But they start putting his name on everything and bringing the Halston brand down. Like where you can walk in motherfucking TJ Maxx and find Halston. Well, you can walk in TJ Maxx and find name brand anyway. But you can walk in TJ Maxx. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like not even CVS pharmacy and find you some perfume. Find you some Halston. They ruined that man's shit. Okay, and he was upset about it. He couldn't do nothing about it because he sold the rights to his name. Because he was desperate for money. I'm not saying this is Maxwell. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he was desperate. He didn't and he didn't understand what that would entail. And then he realized, oh shit, they just put my name in anything. Hey, come here. Here's some Wendy's chicken fingers. We're gonna make these the Austin chicken fingers. We putting your name on these hats, Halston hats. They just start fucking up Halston. That's one of the brands that got you jacked it up, okay? What brands have been able to, a lot of brands have been able to protect their shit, okay? You can't give your name to anybody and never be involved. You got to know, you got to always say, I need to see what the fuck you doing. I don't care if I know what you like. You don't know what the fuck I like every year. So that explains Sabrina Claudio. But I digress. Okay, so you need to know. People need to know that. I always say that to people. That's just I just read this article about, and I told y'all what I heard about the cruise. Good things though. People say it's well worth your money. I've heard that it is well worth your money from the performances and the performers and everything. It just don't seem like his cruise. Okay. Cause he don't be nowhere to be found but at the performance. Okay, and I'm just saying how that's not good. Okay, and secondly, I would say, and this just I'm just talking in lesson in general. Don't never put your name to shit and you don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't care if you got anxiety or what. You didn't know what the fuck, who the fuck you got on this show. Wait a minute, let me help y'all. I'm like that. But I'm a Scorpio. Shit, we control it. We be like, nah, baby, you can't do that. What you got my name to it? You just gonna cure it? Nope, that's not how it's going. I need to see every fucking artist that you put out before you even call them. Geminis don't do that shit. Geminis is just like flying with the wind. Okay, whatever you say. I just want to go play again. We're like, shit. Scorpio's like, bitch, bring that list in here to be of all the people that's gonna be on that list. I don't want y'all to be calling nobody I don't like. I don't want nobody I don't like getting no checks. Oh, this show is crazy. I gotta go. Y'all, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me like you do every week. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Do I got something else to tell y'all? Did I tell y'all about I told y'all, we talked about the Beyonce. Yeah, we already talked Beyonce. Okay. Thank y'all for hanging out with me like you do every week. I appreciate y'all. My little audience, thank you. Remember, you can hit me up on the Carlotta Chatwood Facebook page. You can also hit me up on C Chatwood Show and Carlotta 72 on X, and on Instagram is Carly's with an X with an S. Sorry, Carly's with an S _Galaxy. Okay, and Threads, there should be a link there for that. And then for my TikTok, it is Keisha Carlotta. Okay. You guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you listen. I hope, if anything, I know I tell a lot of lessons or I say a lot of things, but I hope, if anything, you guys get jokes and you laugh and you find the world amusing like I do about different things. I find amusement in real shit, but I also, I also, this is like I say, it's just like a therapy for me. It's fun, and this is what I do. This is why I share it with you guys, and how I'm thinking about the world and the things that interest me, okay, in the news and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I don't know if I'm coming in or not anymore. I don't know. We'll see, okay? Because if I have another story to share, you know what always happens when I get off of here, it'd be a story. I'd be like, dang it. Dang, I need to talk about that. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I did need to talk about this. Was the tsunami stuff hit? How did that go? Because I know people, prayers of people, because they were saying tsunamis were supposed to hit places that was really unusual. What's it say? Let me see. Hold on. How'd that go? Okay, I don't see a lot being said about it right now. Okay. Okay, they are talking about the Epstein file. Epstein and Maxwell grand jury transcripts includes testimony from only 2 witnesses. That's the one thing I see. Okay, you guys. Yeah, I don't say that, but prayers to anybody who's dealing with bad weather, tsunamis, and stuff like that. Wishing y'all safety and everything. I know California was dealing with it last night. They were having some fears about that. So just prayers and shout out to y'all. Pray everybody is safe, all right? Okay, you guys, thank you for hanging out. I am out. Y'all have a good one, okay? All right, see ya.